Finally, it's here this Thursday from the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center in Dearborn. The day you've all waited for, Draft-A-Geddon. Blood, mayhem, sweat, vomit, all in more copious amounts than is legally allowed in 48 other states. It's all here. Everyone's been going psychotic for 6 months. And now, finally, we unveil to you, the world, Draft-A-Geddon 2020. Wow. Wow. Okay. Welcome to the Pride of Detroit PODcast. This is our draft preview episode. And we're here. It's ready to bite kneecaps. Everything is on the table as we begin the final preview before this draft season comes to its final head. I am Chris Perfett, the adequate host, at Chris Perfett on Twitter, PERFETT, the purring ferret, per Jamal Williams. With me, as always, Jeremy Reisman, the fearless mustache, at Detroit on Lion, walking that final walk, dead man walking, as he prepares on Wednesday, I believe, to go and prepare his mustache to be dyed blue.
Yeah, it's going to be dyed blue and then maybe shaved on Sunday. I don't know, because I don't know if I'm going to survive by Sunday, because I think Kyle Shanahan is going to kill us all before then.
Kyle Shanahan's going to... Genius Kyle Shanahan against idiot Dan Campbell. That everyone thinks Dan Campbell's an idiot because he's talking about kneecaps. Kyle Shanahan, football genius, out here saying, like, I don't know if any of us are going to be alive on Thursday. Let's go over to our third man, Ryan Matthews, at Ryan_POD. Ryan, is this a portend to the end times? Is Kyle Shanahan going to kill us all?
Maybe. And if he does, it's cool, because like I've been listening to Rob Zombie lately. Who am I?
Do you have a 20 tweet dissertation on the nature of a Dracula?
Dude, I'm so metal.
Are we going to have to change your intro from Limp Bizkit to Rob Zombie?
Dracula.
Dude, I don't know. It's catchy. Whatever.
I'm worried that you're going to go through a Power Man 5000 phase. Please don't.
And after that, the Deftones.
And
maybe a little
Godsmack.
smack.
When you take your softer turn, you go some AFI.
Oh, wow. Man, Chris, now you're talking to like 10th grade me.
I know how these things develop, man. But what we don't know how to develop is this draft. It is developing, finally, though, into its final mutated form. It's like Frieza. It's gone through about like 80 evolutions over this offseason. Now we're about to see hopefully the final form, the ultimate form. And it's going to, as Kyle Shanahan portends, kill us all. So on this podcast, we have two different mock drafts to give you. One for all 7 rounds for the Lions. All of us on a clock, which is going to be hellish. We're going to give you speed run. We're going to give you some best case, worst case scenarios, bold predictions, rants, and we're going to start off with our realistic view of what's going to happen 1 to 7 in detail. But first, we need to let you know about what is coming this week from Pride of Detroit. I made mention that we're going to have our final mock draft stream, I believe, on Wednesday, Jeremy. Is that right?
That's right. Which may or may not turn into a mustache bleaching podcast at the end of it, but we'll see. But yeah, most importantly, we'll go through our final kind of community mock draft where we'll do one and the live audience will do one on Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm. And then Thursday night, how long before the draft begins, you think? Like 30 minutes?
Probably about 30 minutes. Yeah.
30 minutes before the bell starts for the New York Jets, minutes before they tell us what we've known for about like 6 months, who they're going to pick. At that time, the Mega PODcast live audience Twitch show begins. You want to be on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. It was our biggest show of the year last year in 2020. 2021 is going to be even bigger, and it's going to be even longer because the Lions picked at 3 last year, picking at 7. Do the math, double the time, bam, everyone's there. It's a giant party. That party continues into Friday with with day 2, rounds 2 and 3, and then some wrap up over the weekend. We're still feeling that out. We need to figure out where that's coming, but we will be wrapping up after that for day 3 and the big old POD cast to recap it. A very busy week.
It's going to be huge. It's
going to be amazing.
Sorry.
I just realized I said Jets, by the way. I meant the Jaguars.
We gotcha.
We kind of all know who the Jags are picking.
True.
I guess we kind of know who the Jets are picking,
We know
too.
who the Jets are picking, too.
They
We're going
might
to get to that in a second.
Segue.
Might take Mac Jones, baby.
They do not work for Mac Jones. Which then lets that adequacy from me, as I completely just assumed the Jets were picking first because I'm an idiot. We're going to segue now into our 1-7 mock draft. So let's go. Let's go. And I think just to lead that off, Jeremy, Ryan, we all know who 1 and 2 are going to be, right?
We do indeed. And in our, we're doing this live. If you're watching, you'll be able to kind of track our picks here. But yeah, we can pretty much safely assume at this point Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jaguars with the first overall pick, and and Zach Wilson, I should say, is going to the Jets at number 2. Where the fun starts is number 3.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much locked in, Ryan. Like, I think there's some questions, excuse me, about Zach Wilson, like how good he really is. But I think the Jets have all talked themselves into Zach Wilson. Him and his very lame Chipotle tweets are apparently like, he's going to New York, man. It's what it is. It's just he's going to New York. No other questions about it. I think the way people have been talking about some of these quarterbacks, I think there's some questions if Zach Wilson really is the second best quarterback. But people want him in New York.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Zach Wilson being the second best quarterback in this draft class. I'm not even sure if the Jets are. I'm not sure if anybody's sold on Zach Wilson being the second best quarterback in this draft class, but the Jets seem to be so, and that takes us to pick number 3, the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I will say on Zach Wilson, like, I think because he was from a smaller school, there's more upside there. You haven't seen all of what Zach Wilson is. I just don't know if that's... I think there's more complete guys here, but that brings us, as you say, to San Francisco, which Kyle Shanahan was out today to throw even more smoke in the air to talk about how we're not going to be alive by Sunday. And once again, it seems like, Jeremy, the 49ers are throwing a bunch of smoke up in the air. We've thought it's been Mac Jones for a while, but now other sources, all these people are talking out there. I think it was it Schefter? It's 50-50 now between Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
Yeah. I think it was Rappaport with the first one on Sunday. But yeah, it does seem like it's now down to those two. And yeah, Shanahan talked with the media today and, I mean, confirmed at least what we already all knew, which was, they moved up for a quarterback. Now he's saying there's 5 guys that they'd be comfortable with, which one is BS, I think. 2, if that's true, then you
can't name 5 guys.
Then
quarterback.
The reason you traded up to 3 is all of a sudden for naught, because if you have 5 guys you're comfortable with 3, why did you trade it all the way up to 3? Why didn't you trade up to 5, 6? Not spend as much draft capital to get your guys. I think we can safely assume that it's either going to be Trey Lance or Mac Jones. Personally, I think they originally traded up for Mac Jones, and they're probably going to stick with that. That's at least where I'm kind of at right now. There's all this talk about Mac Jones being a great fit in Kyle Shanahan's offense and blah blah blah. But to me, you made that trade up for one reason, and the immediate name we heard out of everyone's name was Mac Jones. So I think it's going to stay with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I want to say it's Mac Jones too, from the standpoint that if they're going to take Trey Lance, what's going on with Jimmy Garoppolo? And I know that even Kyle Shanahan doesn't know what's going to happen to Jimmy Garoppolo or the rest of us by Sunday, but it puts them in such a interesting bind, because do they stick with Garoppolo? If you're interested in at least keeping Garoppolo around for another year, well, then maybe you do take a guy like Trey Lance, who needs a little bit more maturation. Or do they want somebody who's going to be ready right now? Because when we think about the 49ers window to compete, they were in a Super Bowl. They were in the Super Bowl a year ago. I mean, if their window to compete is now, maybe they want to take the guy who's more pro ready. And by all accounts, it seems like Mac Jones is quote unquote that guy. So I think San Francisco takes Mac Jones at 3, and Kyle Shanahan either cements his legacy as a genius or gets laughed out of the league within a couple of years.
The one thing I want to add really quick there, because I listened to Adam Schefter's podcast this week, and he said that he believes the 49ers don't view Trey Lance as a sit-and-wait quarterback. He views them as a guy that could start right away, and that would run contrary to what the media narrative is and what most people look at. A guy who was barely played in college, just throw him to the fire, and like you said, that seems like a strange thing to do for a team that could very well have the window open right now. But if Schefter's right, then maybe Trey Lance is the guy, and they start him right away.
Yeah, look, and they've got a good offensive line in San Francisco. They can say that right now. If they've got the offensive line to protect him, unlike, say, Joe Burrow, then maybe that's true. I have several questions about this pick. One is that what if it's not Zach Wilson to the Jets? What if somehow they pull a switchy and they go for, as was shown in one of our mock drafts, Mac Jones themselves or something? I don't know. Like it feels like a weird. The conversation for the third quarterback in this draft has been beyond weird, because I posed this question to someone on a Saturday radio show. We have all these teams willing to trade up, seemingly willing to trade up to try to get Justin Fields right now. And there's, we're going to talk about in a little bit, there's plenty of trade potential at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and anyone in front of Denver, really. And the big prize assumed there is Justin Fields, which everyone wants to get. Some people think he's maybe better. He's definitely better than Mac Jones. Some would say he's probably better than Zach Wilson, depending on how you feel about Justin Fields. But I guess my question would be, and this was the question I posed in the radio show, flip the script a second. So let's say the 49ers pull a fast one and they draft Justin Fields. None of those same teams are coming up to draft Mac Jones, right? Yes, no?
It does. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. I think there was a tweet today that was like...
But that's just funny like that. That's just funny how that works. Like, and this idea that, okay, Mac Jones can run Shanahan's offense, but Trey Lance or Justin Fields can't? Sorry, go on, Jeremy. I'm just baffled.
No, I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but yeah, I don't know. The 49ers seem to love him. There was conflicting tweets this morning. One that said, I haven't heard anyone like Mac Jones. If the 49ers don't take Mac Jones, he could slide, well deep into the first round because no one else is talking about him. And then there was another person that said, I've talked to NFL scouts, and everyone's like, yeah, Mac Jones is actually pretty good. I don't know what y'all are talking about. And a lot of people
Mac
think
Jones is that bad either. Yeah, I think we all just assume here, at least among this panel, this troika, that Justin Fields is better.
I think that really is. I think that's a product of the 49ers trading up and the rumors being that they did it to get Mac Jones. Because at that point, before the 49ers moved up for the third pick, I think a lot of people viewed Mac Jones as a fringe first round, late first round, early second round pick. But then all of a sudden, once Mac Jones was the name of who the 49ers were interested at 3, well, then that all of a sudden that blew all of our minds, right? Mm-hmm. So, did you have a second question, Chris?
No, that was it. I'm just utterly fascinated by that Mac Jones is somehow valued as the third pick, but then if he does go past San Francisco, suddenly his value drops from 3 to like maybe 15, maybe out of the first round altogether. And again, the idea that he's uniquely situated to run Kyle Shanahan's offense, but these other that Justin Fields isn't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it plays out, but we basically know at this point it's between, or we think we know at least, that it's between Lance and Mac Jones. And are we making Mac Jones realistic? A pick? I mean, I made the case already. I think the move they made originally was for Mac Jones. I think maybe, yes, they are considering Trey Lance now, but I think when you make that move, that aggressive of a move, and it's for one player, and Kyle Shanahan admitted when he made that move, it was for one specific player. I don't think you make a move like that and change your mind. I think it's Mac Jones.
Yeah.
To quote the great Arif Hassan, you do not move heaven and earth to move up to 3 without having a guy in mind to pick. So Mac Jones is the guy.
Like Mitch Trubisky.
All right. Let's make Mac Jones a pick then.
Mac Jones. I work for Mac. Kyle Shanahan says he works for Mac Jones.
All right. This is where we get to break Ryan Matthews' heart, right?
This is the meat. I know everyone's here for the Lions talk, but this part of the draft is so meaty. It's so weird, and all it takes is one domino going the wrong way to maybe lay in some riches in Detroit. So I think what happens with Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Miami is going to change everything. And I guess the biggest question is first, 2 questions. Let's start with this one then, because I know you wanted to break Ryan's heart. Do the Falcons, they're drafting Kyle Pitts, right?
Yep. I think they are. I mean, the one piece of news that might ruin all of that, and I imagine this is what Ryan is going to bring up so that he can just keep his dreams alive, is that Julio Jones might be on the move. And if Julio Jones is on the move, suddenly wide receiver becomes a very much bigger pick, a bigger need, and then Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle or whoever your wide receiver du jour is becomes a very possible option here.
But Kyle Pitts isn't just a tight end; he's a wide receiver, as Ryan's been telling us.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Falcons. For as many people as I follow on Twitter for Lions news and coverage and just insight, and for as many Lions fans that have, dug their heels in and they've drawn a line in the sand saying like it's this guy or bust or it's that guy or bust, I don't think Falcons fans will be happy with anybody who gets picked.
And I didn't even mention it. Like quarterback is certainly an option right here.
Quarterback is 100% an option, and quarterback is 100% like if I were to break things up, it's really hard to kind of judge it. But I would say that like upwards of like 30% of Falcons Twitter that I follow are all in on Justin Fields. They're like, if Justin Fields is there at 4, I mean, Kyle Shanahan did all of us a great service by moving all the way up to 3 to take Mac Jones and have Justin Fields fall into our laps. So I do not want to rule out the idea that they take Justin Fields, because I think that in terms of a timeline of competing in terms of a rebuild, they're kind of similarly situated to the Lions. They have some more blue chip talent than the Lions do. And, having Calvin Ridley, their offensive line is pretty set with having, Jake Matthews as a franchise left tackle. They drafted, kid from their right tackle. They're Caleb McGarry. Mm-hmm. They have bookends. Like they have some things in place so they can kind of accelerate their rebuild. And if they take a quarterback, maybe they can move on from Matt Ryan next year. But I'm right there with you too, Jeremy. Like if Julio Jones is on the trading block, all of a sudden wide receivers in play. I don't think they go offensive line. I think that's completely off the board. So I think you're really down to 3 players. You're down to Kyle Pitts. Well, actually 4. Kyle Pitts, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. One of those 2 guys.
And Jamar Chase.
And then and whichever wide receiver they have as number 1 on their board. I think it really comes down to those options.
Or it could be a trade. I think both 4 and 6 are very tradable. I have words to say on 5 in a second with Cincinnati, but I think if anyone trades in front of the Lions, it's going to either be Atlanta or Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I think Atlanta has been highlighted as one of those teams. At least I think it was Albert Breer who said that are thinking about trading down. But yeah, I think you're right, Ryan. There's a lot of, I don't really get a sense of where they are leaning. I think based on what I hear from Falcons fans, I think quarterback is definitely high on that needs list. But I just feel like there's been an assumption as of late that Kyle Pitts is the pick. I don't know if there's any basis of truth to that. Sometimes you get close to draft day and you just kind of you see everyone move to a consensus pick, and either that's groupthink or that's like actual legitimate reporting happening. And it's hard to know at this point which one is which.
So what are we saying then for Atlanta before we move on to Cincinnati? Are we saying like we got to make a pick here? Like our most realistic pick is what? And Fields, Lance, Pitts, and Chase are all on the board.
I mean, I feel like it's Kyle Pitts, and I don't want to say that like Hayden Hurst has any effect on whether or not Kyle Pitts gets selected, because if I am, then I'm a huge hypocrite because the Lions have TJ Hawkinson. But like the Falcons did trade their second and fifth round picks to the Ravens to get Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
But with that being said, like you can't pass on who is potentially the best non-quarterback prospect in the draft. I think they take Kyle Pitts at 4 if they stay there.
I mean, I Jerry Jones aside, whoever trades up isn't going to take Kyle Pitts. So yeah, I think it's Pitts there. I do.
All right, let's make Pitts the pick. The one thing I will say is the Falcoholic in our SB Nation mock did go quarterback. They picked Trey Lance. Just to throw that out
look,
there.
I could see that too. I just don't. I think you're going to get a couple more years out of it. It's kind of like the Jared Goff situation for Detroit, right? You could get a quarterback this year, but he's going to be there for at least a couple more years. Matt Ryan in Atlanta, I mean.
But now we're staring at number 5 with Cincinnati, and I think this is one of 2 players.
Yep. You want to talk about more scub. You want to talk about more fighting within a fan base right now. One of the guys I work with, old-time Cincinnati radio and newspaper columnist Andy Furman, who has told me if they do not draft Penei Sewell, that he will lead protests against Paul Brown Stadium. Someone else I worked with, you said this, and I agree with him on this. We saw those pictures of the Bengals' new uniforms that came out, right? And it had the picture of Joe Burrow seated on a throne.
No, it wasn't Joe Burrow on the throne. It was Joe Mixon on the throne, right?
No, Burrow was on the throne too. He was.
They had multiple pictures.
Okay.
They had multiple pictures on. For their team photo, Mixon was on the throne, but they also gave
there was
Burrow.
A solo picture of Burrow.
Got
the point I was making is that you can see in plain sight Burrow's scar from his ACL surgery. And the point is that you should show that to the Bengals front office, zoom in on that ACL scar. That should be up in their war room. That should be the only thing they're looking at when they're trying to say, hey, maybe we should take Jamar Chase over a guy to protect Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I
know the media consensus is on Jamar Chase, Jeremy, but this guy nearly got murdered last year.
Yeah.
And you're going to pass on the best tackle in the draft? No, come on.
I don't know. I have no idea where this pick is. It's 50-50 in my mind. I'm with you, and we've talked about this in terms of the Lions. They're going to have the same conundrum. Do you take an offensive tackle, or do you take a shiny new weapon at wide receiver? I'm of the belief, the analytics show that offensive tackles hit better in the first round. They're harder to find in free agency. They're in general, you're going to get more years out of an offensive tackle than you are a wide receiver. So I value offensive tackle a little higher than wide receiver just in terms of positional value. I don't know what the Bengals are going to do. I don't know how much pull Joe Burrow is going to have because he wants to be reunited with Jamar Chase, but he should also care about his legs.
Yeah, you mentioned, I'll let Ryan get in here in a second, but you mentioned, just real quick, it's a lot like the Lions situation. I would argue that it's not because the offensive line in Cincinnati is infinitely worse than the Lions' offensive line. It was one of the worst in the league not long ago, and it hasn't really improved. I think the need there is greater. But Ryan, where do you see this pick going?
Well, first I want to say that I think this pick becomes even more difficult if the Falcons go quarterback and Kyle Pitts is there. Because now all of a sudden it's like, oh boy, the top offensive talent in the draft is here. And do we weigh that against, picking Penei Sewell? I think that the Cincinnati Bengals should pick Penei Sewell 10 times out of 10. There's no reason why they should prioritize getting a receiver when they just drafted T. Higgins. I mean, I think that for, Joe Burrow goes down with an ACL injury his rookie season for the reason that, Chris, drew out for us, the reason that Jeremy just, illustrated to us that tackles hit way more often than offensive skill position players. I think it has to be Sewell.
It has to be Sewell. All right. I think we're going to draft Sewell for them. We'll give them.
We'll make it as if the Bengals make good decisions.
That's a tall ask, but I know there's some irony of that coming from the Lions podcast.
Sure.
What to do about Miami? because they traded up to 6. I was having this conversation with Jeremy before the podcast that I think the Miami could possibly trade back down. And so far we've gone straight across the board. No one's traded in ahead of the Lions for either Fields or Lance. But at the same time, they traded up to 6 too. So, and Jamar Chase is sitting right there.
It's another tough one because, there are 2 good quarterbacks still on the board right now at 6, both of which could potentially go in the top 3. And so, I think at this point, teams might be like, teams might see it one of 2 ways. Like, okay, well, they're going to continue to slide. I don't think Miami's going to go quarterback. They're probably still believe in Tua. I know we had those rumors way early in the draft process, which seems like years ago. But wide receiver is a huge need. So I think Jamar Chase. If Miami is staying here, I think Jamar Chase is the option. I don't think there's really much question. The question is just whether is Miami going to stay put or not.
Well, I will say that we would almost have to know Miami's draft evaluation in terms of who they see as their number 1 wide receiver.
Sure. Yeah.
Like sure. We all think Jamar Chase is wide receiver 1 by a lot of accounts, but there are so many people who, put other wide receivers ahead of him.
Yeah. Plus the Tua connection in Alabama, right?
Yeah, both Alabama guys are sitting right there, Smith and Waddle. Yeah. I guess the other question for me is, as much as I'd like to see a trade with Miami, I guess I'm curious as to who would be the one to trade. Because we're having this issue where I don't think Denver needs to panic and jump up to 6 if this is how the board is playing out. But at the same time, how much does, like, say, a Washington or a New England have to package to go all the way up to 6?
They would have to give up a pretty hefty package in order to get all the way up to 6. I mean, they'd have to give up an awful lot to get up to 7. And the reason why they would have to give up so much is because they're moving up for a quarterback. So there's a premium that they have to pay, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is totally off the wall, and this is wild. But what if the Dolphins went linebacker? And I'm not saying that it could happen, but Zaven Collins, like, if I'm talking about like a guy that could be like a Clelin Ferrell, Zaven Collins fits in that Miami scheme that Brian Flores runs.
Yep.
He's 100% a guy who the Patriots would target at 15. Crazier things have happened, right? Like, we are Lions fans. We have lived through Jelani Tavai in the second round. We have lived through overdrafting a linebacker. And the Miami Dolphins are clearly in a position where they have draft picks. They have capital. They can afford to maybe take a swing on a guy like Zaven Collins and kind of live with their skill position players. I'm not saying it could happen.
The one thing I would say, though, is they have pick 18.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say, too. Like, that's,
but Collins does not get to 18. He does not get past the
Patriots. They also have the capital.
You're insane.
But they also have the capital. If they're worried about that, they can move up from 18 and trade with, like, I don't know, the Chargers or someone.
They could also take Collins at 6 and get a wide receiver that is a first-round wide receiver at 18. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying that, like, if anything crazy happens in the draft, I think the Dolphins are the biggest wild card.
Sure. But what about, since we're talking linebacker, could you see them taking Micah Parsons then?
Is he 250 pounds?
No.
I don't know, but I ultimately, like, if we're playing the odds, I think they probably go wide receiver, right? And
I think
it's just a matter of who they have at the top of their board. Do you want to just say it's Jamar Chase?
I kind of do, only because, like, I don't remember running our mock at any point and having the Lions on the clock with Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Jamar Chase all on the board, which is what we're staring down if they go with a guy like Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like the idea that they could go an Alabama receiver. I think between the two, they might take Smith, honestly, just because I think again, we don't value Smith because of his size, but, I mean, man, you don't bang into the Heisman over nothing if you're a wide receiver. Like, I know that's a college award, but, I mean, he worked in the Alabama system. It worked for him against SEC defenders. So I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, no, I'm with Jeremy. We're trying to do this in a logical realm. I think logically, if the Bengals pass on Jamar Chase, he immediately gets snapped up by Miami, even though I still think Miami trades down again.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I just don't know who they trade with.
Right. I mean, who knows? And the fact that there are two quarterbacks to me is like, well, do you wait then because you don't need to trade up? Like, let's say you're the Broncos and there's two quarterbacks on the board at 6. At that point, you're pretty sure the Dolphins aren't going to take one. You're not sure what the Lions are going to do. You're pretty sure the Panthers aren't going to take one. One might just fall to you.
Let's have the Dolphins take Chase, because I feel like if someone trades up with the Dolphins and takes either Fields or Lance, we know who the Lions are drafting in that scenario. They're drafting Chase. You just run that pick up there.
True.
I think it's more interesting if Chase is off the board, because now the Lions have Lance, Fields, Waddle, Slater, Patrick Surtain, Devonta Smith all sitting there for them.
This I would be going nuts at this point in the draft because I don't know what they would do. Part of me wants them to just run the ticket up for Justin Fields and suddenly we have a new exciting quarterback that could set this franchise on an interesting future. But part of me is like, trade the hell down. Like, there's so much value on the board right now. Get the hell out of there and accumulate a couple guys. And hell, like, if you end up with Jalen Waddle at pick 12 or pick 11, that's freaking fantastic. That's almost an ideal scenario for me. Or Rashawn Slater. Like, Ryan, you've been a guy thumping the table for Rashawn Slater. He's easily the third, at least the third best prospect on the board right now. That's how much talent there is right now. So if you can trade back and still nab him, whew, that's a big win.
Yeah, and here's the thing about all these trade back scenarios. Those guys might not be there. Like, Rashawn Slater would probably go 8 to Carolina.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle could definitely go like 11 to New York.
And I feel like we've devalued Waddle a little bit. I feel like we've all spent a lot of time talking ourselves out of why both the Alabama wide receivers just aren't as good as Chase. And I think like we've devalued them. But sorry, go on, Ryan.
No, I mean, dude, Waddle could have been the Heisman Trophy winner if he didn't get hurt for, a few games. I mean, this situation would absolutely be the toughest thing this might be the toughest decision that Brad Holmes has faced in his tenure as Lions GM.
100%.
Like, this is more difficult than trading Matthew Stafford. This is more difficult than deciding whether or not you're going to put the franchise tag on Kenny Galladay. This is where like GM's careers get decided. Are you passing on a potential franchise quarterback in either Justin Fields or Trey Lance to trade down? Or are you taking Jalen Waddle? Are you making the ultimate safe pick by taking Rashawn Slater? This is a decision that I am not interested in making at all whatsoever.
No, it's a minefield for myself. Like
minefields.
I've already. I would say the thing is I've already seen the Lions trotted out that next year's quarterback class isn't good, and I think we've said before. That happens every year. We find reasons to like these quarterbacks. I guess the question is, let's leave Trey Lance aside because I think we all recognize Trey Lance is a bit of a project. Can the Lions miss on Justin Fields in this scenario?
It's going to make some people upset. I wouldn't be one of them. The only thing that would upset me about taking Fields is just passing on a trade down because I do. Mm-hmm. I just think in general, like Fields could bust. Any one of these quarterbacks could bust, and the only way to, combat getting busted is to have as many picks in the draft. And like I said, the board is just so clean right now. There's so much value there.
I would, if this was logical, I would say the Lions trade down, and I have someone in mind, and I've had him in mind forever. And I'm kind of giving away my best case scenario here. You trade down and you look and see if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is there. Yeah. Who I think is, people keep talking about Parsons. I think JOK is as good as Parsons, maybe better. He's had more in-game scenario. No, listen, there's some tweaking the eyes he has put up more. He is a better linebacker in coverage, and Parsons and JOK both played 2 years. They had about the same number of sacks. JOK has more tackles for losses as well on fewer tackles. He is a guy who he has good, incredibly good fundamentals. He has some background he has some play time at DB at both safety and corner. He is, tweener's been a bad word for a while, but I just think, he's got the Dick Butkus Award, which besides a very funny name is like, again, you don't trip over that doing nothing, especially if you're a Notre Dame linebacker. Like, I don't know. I think Parsons sitting out a year and all of the issues with him aside, that makes me very sour on him. The idea of the Lions trading back and getting JOK is still my ideal scenario.
The last thing I want to say about any discussion we have when it comes to a trade back is that looking at the board here with Fields, Lance, Waddle, Rashawn Slater, then you start to get into defensive talent. Okay, you get into the Patrick Surtains of the world, who honestly, like, if you're trading back past 12, you're not getting the top cornerback in the draft class because either the Cowboys or the Eagles are taking him.
Yeah,
okay?
Surtain is going to go off the board immediately.
J.C. Horn, however you feel about Parsons, here's what's going to happen. And we talked about this on our Locker Room podcast. Once you trade past 12, you're not getting one of these blue chip prospects anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So this really becomes a discussion of, do you want the Lions to take their potential franchise quarterback now, or are you the belief that Jeremy is, where it's, you know what, the Lions are in the, they're in the infancy of this rebuild. Do you just try to accumulate as many draft picks as possible? And if that's the case, you need to trade back with a team like Washington. You need to trade back with a team like Jacksonville, who you can just absolutely ransack and get tons and tons of I mean, like, holy moly, if you want to take advantages of a situation, trade back with Jacksonville. They have tons and tons of draft picks in the top 100. Take their second first round pick, take their second round pick, take their third round picks.
What are they going to want to trade up for?
But hey, you just got Trevor Lawrence. They have the potential to get Jalen Waddle with him. They have the potential to get Devonta Smith with him.
We are way over, so let's make the pick right now, and let's
leave
trade scenarios aside. What are we doing?
Well, yeah, if trades are aside, I'm running the card up for Justin Fields. I know we didn't really talk much about Trey Lance. I think both make sense. I mean, you're probably going to sit whoever for a year, so if you're worried about Trey Lance being a developmental prospect, who cares? You get a year to sit him.
Let me say, if we do have trade up there, who's the trade partner? You got to settle on that.
No. I don't wanna. The Eagles? I don't know. I think 12 is like an ideal scenario, but I don't think the Eagles are going to want to trade up. They traded back already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It becomes a discussion of whether or not you trade back or you trade way back. And I just showed my hand and I said that the Lions should probably trade way back. But I'm with Jeremy. Justin Fields is the pick for me at 7 if he's there.
Yeah. I even think bigger about Goff, but I feel like, from everything we've seen from Fields and what we just talked about when it comes to the 49ers, if they're passing on Fields, like, make that your benefit.
And also, if you're the Lions and you're bad in 2021, you're not tipping your hand and you're not locking yourself into like, holy hell, we need a quarterback.
Yeah.
The one last thing I want to say quickly on trade down scenarios is the way this played out. I think the only trade up candidates are going to be trading up for a quarterback. But let's say Penei Sewell doesn't go to the Bengals and instead they grab Jamar Chase and then the Dolphins go Jalen Waddle. Well, suddenly I think someone could trade up for Penei Sewell.
But I would want Penei Sewell.
I'd rather trade down still.
I'd rather take Penei Sewell. Are you kidding me? As Penei Sewell himself says, go watch the tape.
And I would rather take Rashawn Slater. So look at all of us idiots around a keyboard.
We are. And we are also 40 minutes in and we haven't taken our first break. This is going to be a mega-sized POD cast, but guess what? It's draft season. It's draft again. And when we come back, Jeremy is going to try to... We're going to try to do all 7 rounds, and it's going to be hell. But we're going to try to do it in hopefully less time than we did here. But we're going to do all the picks, mocking them, try to cut on the clock, time limit, no more angsting. We'll do it all next on the Pride of Detroit POD cast.
In the back of my Dragula.
Okay, well, Craig died, so that's good. Giark hasn't. We just did 40 minutes there.
We did indeed. Chat. Thank you for sitting in all that time and while we ignored you. Although I did run a poll to see who you guys thought the Bengals were going to pick, and you guys...
I'm seeing some people saying, no, Parsons is better. No, he's not. He's not. All that speed, all of that talk right there. JOK has it all. He has all of that. The same damn. He has all of those things.
He does not have the same speed at all.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he does. He does.
Okay.
You guys are sitting on a guy who's been sitting on his ass for a year. JOK just won the Dick Butkus. Give him that.
He would also be the smallest linebacker in the NFL if he was drafted.
Put on a few pounds and he's good.
Small is good. He has to grow a little bit too.
Yeah. Small's good.
Let me catch up on alerts really quick. We had a bunch of follows. Flat Slol, thank you for the follow. Roman a Day, 1962, thank you for the follow. MSU Sparty 4, I guess thank you for the follow. Just kidding. Monster Mike, thank you for the follow. Scuba Steve, thank you for the follow. And then we had a bunch of subs as well. No Decaf, that guy right over there. I can't point in the right direction. Sub for, 9 months total. D-Man with 5 months. Blue Mutt with 3 months, and he used his Twitch Prime, which is a good reminder. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch account. Subscribe to us for free. Boom. And then Bradley Doc, thank you for the host, and your local gulag with 3 months has been more excited for this draft more than any other. Thanks, you guys. Can't wait for Thursday. I hope you join us on Thursday when we're doing our live draft show. Whew.
I haven't even gotten to the best reasons JOK is better than Parsons, by the way.
He's a domer?
No. He didn't try to, haze or sexually assault anyone.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Just that small detail,
Jeremy, share that tweet that I just shared with you and Chris for the Lions' first-round pick.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, this is good.
MSU Sparty, are you the guy's verified account on Twitter? Yes, that is us, Pride of Detroit. That's us. That logo right there. That's us.
POD.
What'd you share it in Slack? I don't think I have a Slack open right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
One sec, I'll find it.
Get off that cap. I will not. I really won't. There's bigger things in life than just how good a guy is on football. If he's a terrible human being, I want no part in him. I'm sorry. That shit follows you around forever.
Justin Fields, only quarterback with top 10 passing and rushing grades last season. Boom. That's a thing.
Great pick at 7.
It's a pretty good pick.
Who knows if it's accurate?
But look at that.
At least it's not turnover-worthy plays.
I'll move. No, you make me move. You 1 OSS, whatever. You want to win. You get good guys. You get good character guys. Stop doing this crap. Go find your soul.
I mean,
idiot.
plus people.
Fucking idiot.
All right, chill for a second. I mean, a guy like that who caused a guy to transfer, or at least was part of the group of people who caused a guy to transfer. Locker room, chemistry matters. I don't even if you put all the moral things aside and you don't care about moral in your football players, which I guess that's a fine take to have if you're willing to put all that aside. That stuff affects that affects locker room. And if you were part of a group that caused a guy to transfer, what could that amount to at the NFL level? I don't know if he's still the same guy. I don't know how involved he is in all that sort of stuff. That's stuff that the NFL teams are going to have to do their due diligence on. But
he's a hassa.
You can't just say that it doesn't matter and you just care about winning, because that sort of stuff would matter if you have concerns about it.
Parsons is a hassa. It's
Anyways.
a pig that don't fly right.
All right, I'm gonna in the background while you guys talk with me, I'm gonna reset our mock draft here because we're gonna run a speed round, and then I also have to get.
Oh yeah. Did we decide on? Did we set on time? Do you want to do 3
minutes
for each pick?
I have a 3-minute
3
timer
minutes for each one. Yeah.
Right.
That will be on screen. It currently says the pick is due, but maybe if I start it and pause it, did that make it 3 minutes? No.
Joshua Mersch is asking if you can buy the background for the draft party right now.
You can buy. Why don't you just buy it then and say make it a nice surprise?
He might not be there. He might not be there at the jump. I don't know. Maybe he's got to work that night. I don't know.
There, is it showing up now? Okay, our first pick is we're only gonna have 258 for it, so
it's all right.
Why is it not centered? There we go. I mean, if you want to buy it now, I guess, but it'll kind of ruin the fun. And I already have a guess at what it's going to be. Some people, I've gotten the suggestion from multiple places. let's just say it might arrest my development. Wink. Are we not doing trade backs in this run, or did I miss the offers? We haven't really decided. We could do a trade back. I feel like if we're going to do trades in this one, we should do the same thing we do on Mock Draft Thursdays, which is one trade back allowed, or one trade period allowed. But considering this is a speed mock where we're only going to have 3 minutes on the clock, we might want to just consider doing a straight up pick at 7. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Sorry, what was that?
I mean that definitely.
No, sorry, I was just really distracted with something.
That definitely does make it a little bit more wild for sure. I don't know. Let's keep them on their toes.
The question, Chris, is since we're doing a speed mock, we get 3 minutes on the clock. Should we even bother considering trades, because that's going to hold things up pretty significantly?
Unless you have a really good trade proposal, and I don't think any of us do.
It's almost like we can't do a counter offer, right? Like it just has to be something like they send to us and we just have to accept it.
Yeah. Because trades are just so weird like that. Because I feel like that's what kills every one of these mock drafts. But I think these are done for fun more than any kind of realistic scenario.
Right, and this is why we all get worked up, myself included, like on draft day when the lines don't trade back. Like, oh, but I traded back in my mock and I got 2 firsts and a third and a fifth. What? Lions couldn't do that?
What was that first mock draft night we did on Thursday where the Lions had a mock where we got Zach Wilson and traded back up into the first and had JOK?
I don't know, something crazy like that.
Because apparently in that draft, the Jets did something that the Jets would do, is that they saw the 49ers get really gung-ho for Mac Jones and out-thought themselves like, well, we should take Mac Jones.
Remember when we had our dueling mock drafts article and everybody was like, oh, Eric has the best draft because he got Philadelphia's first-round pick in 2022. It's like, okay, cool.
And more, right? Like
you got a first was asking me if I was going to do a mock draft. I haven't had the time. I can do one if you want. I know tomorrow I'm going to have my Why the Lions Should Draft Penei Sewell article out.
Real quick, I just because I did the math on this trade real quick, and because Jeremy is like team trade down, I want to know if you would accept this offer, Jeremy.
Okay.
Jacksonville calls you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
They want the number 7 overall pick.
Yeah.
They give you 25, 33, and 45.
The problem at 25 is like you talk about all the blue chips coming off the board when you're into the teens. You get to a third tier when you're in the 20s. Like, because even the tweener guys we're talking about are all gone.
3 picks in the top 50.
I'm doing it.
I knew he would.
I'm doing it. I don't care. Like, listen, that's huge.
Hey, if the Lions were to trade back, I would almost want them to do something more like that, where they get more darts in the top 50. And according to the trade, according to the trade value chart, I mean that's 1,750 worth of points for the number 7 pick that's valued at 1,500. So like.
All right.
I mean, it obviously depends on who's the board, but I don't even know who would have to be there for me to be no. Like, I don't know.
I guess this is always I'm always leery about trade downs just because like I see the value in them, but then I guess I have to ask like, okay, but the other team they clearly see the value in trade down too. So why are they trading up? Right. Like trades just it feels like a mutually assured destructive kind of thing. And I just think we see a far less trades happen than what actually happens. I've already seen some people hyperventilate about the number of teams talking about trading back. I heard one guy who's like, oh my God, it's just like draft day. Everyone, the whole board's going to be flipped. And it's like, no, settle down.
I only pick on
every year too.
Yeah. I only pick on the Jaguars because Urban Meyer's their head coach. And he already talked about how he doesn't like free agency. So like, maybe he's just like, I'm just going to get who I want in the draft because that's usually how recruiting goes.
I could see that. I mean, I could see that's going to be some learning process for Urban Meyer if that's the case.
If he doesn't like free agency and then trades all of his draft picks for 2 guys. Well, how are they going to add players then? Like, who's going to go out there and play?
A lot of undrafted free agents.
Undrafted free agents, exactly.
You want the guys who really want to be here.
Guys, you know what I want to happen on draft night? Kyle Pitts at number 3. Do you know how vindicated I would be?
God.
Like, Kyle Shanahan, like, we knew the guy we wanted.
George Kittle.
We wanted Kyle Pitts.
You won't live to Sunday.
Just an offense made out of tight ends and fullbacks.
Jesus
Kyle
God.
Juszczyk. Kyle Pitts and George Kittle. Let's go!
With Jimmy Garoppolo throw to him. Oh.
All right.
Nick Mullins.
Windy City Meatball, thank you for the 3 months, by the way. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate getting some Windy City love. Hopefully the Lions are your team, and if so, we are sorry that you have to live amongst the Bears. But real talk, Chicago's a pretty cool city.
So I went. The only time I went to Chicago, I went to Big Ten Media Days. I covered it in, I think, 2015, and I went to it was the South Loop in the summer, and that was a pretty cool place.
Yeah,
very, very nice. Very nice place.
I don't know if I said it or not. David Reinfurt with the 100 bits. Appreciate that as well. All right, you guys ready to get going? Speed mock time?
Conrad, try being in New Jersey and living around Jets-Giants fan. You don't even need the second part of that. Just try being in New Jersey. I feel bad for you.
Ouch.
I used to do a podcast with a guy who grew up in New Jersey, and he will back me on that.
Actually, I'm going to run the same poll because there was a Twitch poll, and I can't remember who I was watching. It might have been Mrs. Ruby. She had a poll, which is a worse place to live, New Jersey or Florida? And I'm curious who's going to win.
You at least get good weather in Florida, although you do get hurricanes. Well, hold up, Jeremy. Hold up. Because this is important. What part of Florida?
I don't know, just Florida. What part of New Jersey?
No, you don't say just Florida. You know. Florida is very different depending. Are you talking Panhandle? Are we talking North Florida, Jacksonville? Are we talking South Florida, like Miami? Like, are we talking Tampa Bay? What are we talking here?
No. Whatever
That's
one
all
you want.
Those are all very different Floridas.
You're right, but I'm sure there are different parts of New Jersey.
There's only one part of New Jersey. It's all Trenton and Newark.
No, Hoboken's not bad.
Hoboken's awful. Stop this. Oh, this Ohio State.
I threw Ohio in there.
People, come on, you guys. I know we've got a bunch of Michigan people, but Columbus is beautiful.
How dare you?
Listen, dig through the ditches, burn through the witches. I slam in the back of my
Dragula.
Let's mock draft. I'm ready to slam in the back of the Dragula.
Really quickly before we do, Lefty Detroit dropped 5 gifted subs as he is wont to do. Thank you, Lefty. Appreciate it, man. Love it. Love the support. And yeah, just in case you were wondering, Ohio is running away with the poll, even though
New Jersey is over Florida, and that's the important thing.
Okay. I think I am ready to go. Let me make sure I have the timer thingy up here. Okay.
Yeah. I should probably get my own stopwatch just because we went real long last segment, too.
True. Oh, yeah. Let me also get Detroit, 7-round mock. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I should probably pull up my own mock draft.
Florida, no income tax, right? True. New Jersey? I don't know if New Jersey has income tax.
Pretty sure.
Probably.
Probs.
They say Florida man, not Panhandle man. True.
In the back of my Dracula.
Jesus.
It was literally just that tweet thread that got you into Rob Zombie.
When I had maybe heard that song once before in my entire
Really?
life. I read that.
It's a
Twitter
great
thread.
song. Like, I loved that song when it was new.
Oh, yeah. No, that's fantastic.
I know you were still, just a twinkle in your
I was
head.
Zygote.
I was 7. But that was a great Twitter thread. That was like some deep. That was some.
was that fart? Was that at fart?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I know him. He's like a really good comedian. He's John Hendren. Yeah. But yeah.
I want to throw it in the Twitch chat so that they can understand what the hell we're talking about, because they probably don't. Okay,
Monsters.
In case you have no idea what we're talking about, you don't know what Dragula or Rob Zombie is or this Twitter thread, it starts right
Rob Zombie
there.
is, you can get the fuck out of this podcast. Zoomers need not apply.
It all for people that are, for our old fans who are fans of the Munsters, the TV show, that thread will also be for you.
There's overlap.
Do you think there's a single person in either our YouTube or our Twitch right now that has even seen more than 2 episodes of the Munsters?
No.
Oh, Nick Coscarelli says the Munsters were so good. I've watched a ton.
Dude, don't trust people.
Wow.
People love some throwback TV, man.
Wow, there are a lot of people.
It doesn't count if you left your TV on and you woke up in the middle of the night to the Munsters on Nick at Night. Like that doesn't count.
Grandpa
You
has
didn't
it on or
watch
something. Or my TV. Listen, I have seen because of that same scenario there, Ryan. I am the foremost leading expert on this podcast on every episode of Law and Order SVU.
I don't want that title. You can have it.
I watched a lot of TV as a kid too, but I guess I didn't watch a lot of TV Land or Nick at Night or any of that stuff. But apparently a ton of our Twitch chat has, and there's also people that are just saying they're way older than us.
Yeah, no, I
I
definitely seen it with some older stuff too, but like even some throwback stuff. Like, man, I mean, is it on any Monsters? Are they on any streaming? Because I know like used to be able to get like some really good 80s shit like Miami Vice on like Netflix.
It says that it's on Peacock.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
There's only hold on. This might be the most wild thing. Do you know how many seasons of the Munsters there were?
Well,
10.
you said the word only, so it's probably going to be low. 3.
2.
Wow.
Damn. What are like?
But
I could see
they
that
used to.
Star
They
Trek
used to
was
be
only
like
2
50
seasons.
episode seasons.
I was gonna say
70 total episods.
Yeah, long seasons. I was gonna say Star Trek was only like 2 seasons, the original Star Trek. David Reinford 69. Law and Order CI way better. I get the appeal of D'Onofrio, but I think like the Christopher Maloney, Margaret Hasgardy, I can't say her last name, dynamic is still the best. And who doesn't like some iced tea?
Fair enough.
Ice-T talking about the new street drug of the week.
I just did a quick shout out to Mrs. Ruby because apparently she's on the front page of Twitch and has 5,800 viewers right now.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Go.
if you don't know, she's a friend of our show. She does a cooking stream completely unrelated to sports, but very funny, very supportive. Her community is amazing. So apparently up to 6,100 now.
Wellington right now.
Yes.
Let's hurry up and get done so that we can rate her.
True. Beef Wellington takes a while,
All right.
so I think we might have a chance, but we are way behind.
Dude, I'm ready to mock. Let's mock.
Let's mock.
Speed mock. Here, hold on.
Original Law and Order is the best. See, but the original Law and Order cast changes all the time, so I can't like. I like some good chemistry, but let's go.
I have the live stream up now too.
Yeah, I've got
if you
it.
need
I've got it. All right, so we're back on the Pride of Detroit PODcast, the draft again in 2021 as we finally close out a godforsaken year of just mock drafting with our own final mock drafts. We just did 1 to 7 in depth, yelling at each other a lot about trading. We didn't let Jeremy trade. And now as penance, he is making us do all 7 rounds for the Detroit Lions for however many picks they have. They don't really have a lot of picks on day 3, Jeremy, but we're going to be on the clock drafting here.
Yes. So the general rules here is we're going to be using the Draft Network's mock draft machine. We're going to have exactly 3 minutes to decide on each pick. We will, I guess we'll say we'll have an opportunity to do one trade throughout the entire draft. But again, we have to get it in before that 3 minutes, which means basically no counter offers. Whatever the mock draft machine throws at us, we are either going to accept or decline and just get it done with. So,
are we skipping round 1 because we've already done it, or are you just going to make us do this from scratch?
No, we are going to do it all the way from scratch, where the computer is the GMs for the top 6 teams, not us smart people.
Oh, that's bad. As I said on Draft Network before, we've seen the Jets miss on Zach Wilson.
We could get something wacky.
Let's
Chris, the only thing I request from you is that you get the Randy Savage Bonesaw from Spider-Man 1 drop where he says, "I got you for 3 minutes."
I got you for 3 minutes, brother.
All right, let's do this.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's fire it up. Here we go. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Jamar Chase, and here comes the offers. We didn't see who that last pick was.
Turn it down. You get Kyle Pitts right now.
hold on. We don't know if Pitts went 6 or not. We got the Patriots. Oh, okay, at this point I should start the timer, I suppose. There we go. All right. Timer started. We got the Patriots offering their 2nd and 5th to trade down to 15. We've got the Panthers offering their 4th and 7th to trade back 1 spot to 8. And we've got the Cowboys offering their 3rd and 5th to move back to 10.
I would entertain the offer. Do you want to go back to 8? Because I feel like there's still, regardless of what's on the board, I think Sewell, Chase, like one of those is still there. Right?
Oh, okay. So
my gosh.
Chase is
oh my God.
The Dolphins did what we said that they might and take a linebacker. They've taken Micah Parsons, which means Kyle Pitts is on the board. Penei Sewell is on the board.
Trade back to Carolina.
You want to trade back to Carolina?
Trade back to Carolina. Trade back to Carolina.
What was their offer again?
A 1st, a 4th, and a 7th.
All right, let's do it. Panthers next. 1st, 4th. What'd you say? 4th and 6th?
4th and a 7th.
They don't have a 7th.
Oh, yeah.
I think it
was
6th.
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get that 6th.
Let's do it.
Boom, done. Send the offer. Let's see what we get.
Panthers are evaluating. We just sent it to them. I hate this thing. Congratulations, Panthers accepted.
They accepted their offer. Boom. Let's restart the clock here. We're good.
Don't take Kyle Pitts.
They'll take Kyle Pitts.
We're not. All right, we did our trade, so no more trades. They took Penei Sewell.
Kyle
Kyle Pitts still on the board. Do I even need to put the timer going? Are we talking about Rashawn Slater?
Mr. Rashawn Slater himself, Ryan Matthews. You're going to forsake the chosen man.
We get the best non-quarterback in the draft at 8? Come on!
Yeah, I'm with him there. Take Pitts.
The ESPN chime is in.
Baby.
Kyle Pitts has made it to 8, and the Lions have picked up a 4th and a 6th. Ryan is partying right now.
Jeremy's got to be happy, too, because we traded down and still made it work.
That's true. Best of both worlds.
You guys would be partying, too. You guys would be partying, too.
Oh, fuck yes, I'm partying. Are you kidding me? Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
All right. Mac Jones goes to the Broncos. Slater goes to the Cowboys as we move along. The Patriots settle for Devontae Smith. No quarterback in their future. We're just going to ignore all the trade requests from here on out.
Yeah, they're asking to like move up or move back or get the Lions back in the first round, which would be cool because I've seen some guys on the board still. But
true. There goes Zaven Collins to the Packers. You hate to see it.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't like that.
Rondale Moore to the Jaguars.
The Jets get J.O. We had a chance to trade up with Jacksonville, but all right, we're at pick 41 now.
Ooh, Jamin Davis goes right before us. That's a heartbreaker.
Right that does hurt.
All right, let me start the clock here. All right, clock has started. What positions do you guys want to look at here? We got Baron Browning at linebacker is a pretty good value here.
Browning, I've been pounding the table for him for a while as a day 2 pick. I don't know at 41 if that's where you want to take him, but I mean, if he's there and you want the talent, like hell yeah, Baron Browning's probably the best day 2 linebacker that's going to be there.
What about the best offensive tackle on the board?
Yeah, let's look at the offensive tackle. So it looks like we kind of had a run on him. If you want to, let's see. Yeah, Sewell, Slater, Darisaw, Tevin Jenkins, Alex Leatherwood, Samuel Cosme, and Liam Eichenberg all off the board.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. We can get a tackle.
You can probably get one in the third.
I don't know if you're getting a starter when you're talking third round, but hey, you know what? Maybe Tyrell Crosby is good.
A lot of these wide receivers aren't really interesting me. Like I'm on Ross St. Brown could be interesting. De'Ami Brown could be interesting, but not with the 41st. Not when you just took a tight end.
I guess the tight end kind of takes it out of here.
Yeah.
I don't really see
Quarterback
any
or
much
safety.
of corners. or
Javon
safeties
Holland,
either.
I think, is a viable option here.
I'm
Jamar
gonna
Johnson is still there.
I'm running it up for Baron Brown. Honest.
Honestly, I'm between two players:
Okay.
Baron Browning or Asante Samuel Jr.
Yep. That's a good one
I think
too.
linebacker's the bigger need right now, to be honest. Like as much as I like
Yeah.
Asante Samuel, like I'd rather shore up.
It depends. It really depends on what you see as in Asante Samuel. I think some view him as a pure slot, and if that's the case, the Lions need a slot corner for the future, just as much as they need a linebacker. But a guy that can play both is also just as valuable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they don't have a lot of depth at corner either, but they also don't have any depth at linebacker, especially after this season. So
There's also, at linebacker, there's also Jabril Cox and Nick Bolton. If we're, yeah.
I think there's going to be a run on linebackers here very soon. You get one now, or because I think a lot of those guys are pretty highly graded on PFNs.
If Jamin Davis was here, he'd be the pick for me.
Yeah,
Like,
and he
no
literally
brainer.
just went right before us. All
How
right,
much time do we have?
50 seconds.
Oh boy.
I'll keep pounding the table for Browning.
I think I'm down with Baron Browning, although I'm tempted to get Javon Holland, the safety out of Oregon, as well.
You like him more than Richie Grant?
I do. Just in terms of fit. The thing is I like all three of these safeties, which means you might be able to take a chance and hope that one is there at the
think
top
I'll
of
take
round
that
3.
chance.
But
Let's
think
go.
I'll take that
Baron
chance.
Browning.
all right.
Yeah.
Baron Browning is the pick with just 20 seconds on the clock. Pick is in. Baron Browning. So our picks are Kyle Pitts and Baron Browning with 8 and 41, where we got an extra 4th and an extra 6th as well from our trade down with the Panthers.
The Lions are
That'll
getting
help, too.
athletic.
Forget all the trade. Forget that.
All right. Let's see any safeties off the board yet. No safeties off the board yet, so that's great news for
Oh my
Detroit.
God! All these people asking to me, and there goes Jabril Cox off the board. Gregory Rousseau lasts until 60.
That's
Is
kind of
shocking
interesting.
to me. Yeah.
There goes
You've seen
Etienne
some
in the
weird-
third. Finally, someone is listening. No safeties in the first 2 rounds.
Hey,
I'm
what
not
I say,
sure.
like, okay.
I don't
Is
know.
Asante Samuel still there, or did he just go off the board? I think he
Literally,
just went off the board.
none of the safeties have come off the board.
Yeah.
Asante Samuels is gone. You got Tyson Campbell, Paulson Adebo, and Benjamin St. Just at the
Benjamin
top of the
St. Juste.
cornerback list for
Yeah.
the draft network. Offensive tackle is something we thought about taking. Spencer Brown is there. Presents
Ooh.
good
Spencer
value
Brown was
there.
Real tempting.
Ew,
Where's
yeah.
that next pick? Where do we pick next with the extra?
I think we're still far down
You
here.
can go see it.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how you go see it, to be honest here, but
Yeah.
no, your next pick is going to be at the end of 3rd round. It's your compensatory 101. So we're still about 30 picks out from our next pick.
Just with the number of safeties still there,
I think safety is a bigger need than offensive tackle.
I do. I just like Spencer Brown.
Yeah.
You're also yeah, and I trust me, I love Spencer Brown. The guy has a 10 RAS. He's one of 2 players who has a 10 RAS in the entire draft class. He's also a project, so he wouldn't immediately fit in to be a starter. I'm with Jeremy. Like, I think you can get a day 1 starter right now in Richie Grant or Javon Holland.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could even double down on safety later. I think Hufanga will still be there out of USC as well, but there's definitely a chance to really get some safety help right now.
Yeah.
It's best player available is a safety, right, Jeremy?
I think so. And according to the Draft Network's board, running back Javonte Williams is, but then Javon Holland and Jamar Johnson are both the top guys.
I'd be happy with Holland.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, if the board were to fall like this, we're definitely going to see a safety run. The only thing that we're doing here at this point is probably saying, well, we're probably not getting a starting offensive lineman in this draft.
Which is fine, because I feel like there is...
Well, you're just not going to tackle everything, right? Like, you're not.
You're not. And I feel like the offensive line, there's some problems on the right side, but
yeah,
I still think with the amount of needs, offensive tackle is a lower need than safety.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, maybe Halapuli Vati Vaitai can be your bridge offensive tackle until you find one next year. You're not going to fill every need.
And you're going to have an extra pick next year too. if you don't trade up.
How much time do we have left?
We have under a minute, about 50 seconds.
Let me make the case for Javon Holland, because I mean, I do like Richie Grant, but I think the case for Javon Holland is he has that versatility. He can play slot corner. He can play safety. He's not necessarily the bruiser that Grant can be, but I think that he might have the highest floor of any safety in the class. So, I mean, you're getting a potential starter at pick, what is it, 72?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm with it too. Twitch chat seems to be with Holland as well, so I feel like that's a consensus pick for everyone.
Pick is in then.
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland joins Kyle Pitts and Baron Browning as the Lions' first 3 picks in the draft. And there we go. Richie Grant goes 2 picks after. Jamar Johnson a couple picks after that. So there's that safety run we were expecting. We can
There goes
hopefully
Spencer Brown to the
the
Raiders.
Raiders.
That is very unlikely to happen given the Raiders' current history with their offensive line right now, but okay.
Stone Forsythe goes as well.
Benjamin St. Juste goes.
Divine Diablo went at 84, so
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we took a safety.
Yeah, that's a great point. And there goes another
Chaz
safety.
Surratt goes.
Linebacker. We don't need one, but yeah. All right, so the lines are back on the
where we
clock. Let me turn the timer back on here. All right. Let's take a look at the top prospects. Kenneth Gainwell, Hunter Long, Marlon
Tuipulotu.
Thank you.
Tuipulotu, yes, out of USC. Once again, Twitch chat has already accused me of USC Trojan bias right now, but as an interior defensive lineman in the, at pick 101.
Can you switch from the predictive board, Jeremy?
Yeah.
To the rankings?
Yep.
Thank you.
Is there a position you want to look at here?
Oh, man.
I mean, if we want to look at offensive line here, Robert Hainsey out of Notre Dame, Josh Ball out of Marshall, Dan Moore Jr., Walker Little out of Stanford.
So Walker Little is a really interesting prospect, right? Because Walker Little was like widely viewed as maybe the best tackle that was going to be in this, like in the 2020 draft class prior to the 2019 season. But then he dealt with injury, and he has all the physical traits, but like he didn't play in 2020. He barely played in 2019. Yeah, he declined to go to the Senior Bowl. So, like, you're drafting a guy purely on projection, and I think at maybe 101, that might be a little early for him.
Yeah. Can I see the, since I just said interior defensive lineman, what is that looking like right now? Because the Lions do need some help on the front 3, front 4. So Tyler Shelvin is there out of LSU, and Alan McNeil is also there out of NC State. And then we talked about Tuipulotu. Now I'm even struggling.
Tuipulotu,
yeah.
It's also worth noting
some good options here.
The Lions, I was going to say the Lions have 3 picks in the next 12. They have 112 and 113. We're currently at 101.
What about wide receiver? I know we haven't taken a wide receiver. We took Kyle Pitts, but I don't know.
Not great. Cade Johnson is there. Anthony Schwartz-Smith. I don't think the value is there.
There's some developmental guys like Anthony Schwartz there for out of Auburn, who's has a lot of athletics, but they would all be projects at this point. Now, as you say, Ryan, this isn't the point where you take projects just yet.
I think I'm willing to take a risk on Walker Little. Call me crazy.
I kind of want to get a defensive lineman, to be honest. I think Alan McNeil would be. I think he's probably closest to NFL ready.
I mean, he's a pure nose, so those tend to translate pretty well. But you also tend to be able to get them a little later in the draft. We're at 30 seconds though, so we got to make a decision here.
Here's the thing. I'm fine with taking McNeil right now because he's so high on the board that I think we can get Walker Little at one of the picks that are coming up.
Okay. All right. We'll take a lead.
Let no one accuse me of USC bias again. I'm taking an NC State kid over a Trojan.
All right. We get it in with just about 10 seconds left. Aleem McNeil is the pick at 101. There he goes. All right, let's see who goes in between. There goes running back Tyree Gillespie, another safety off the board.
Tufele went off the board. I didn't even see that. There goes
Tuipulotu.
Yep.
All right, no offensive.
Trask goes to the Bengals.
Okay, interesting.
This is a weird machine, but okay.
All right, we got back-to-back picks here, 112 and 113. Right. We got to pick 2 guys here, and
Let's use the time limit to our advantage. We know that we're taking Walker Little with one of these 2 picks.
Okay.
Right?
All right. And so that would get our offensive line need out of the way. We have tight end, linebacker, safety, interior defender also already out of the way. We could go wide receiver here. We could go corner here if you want to look at corners. Shaun Wade out of Ohio State is a guy that we've talked about a ton. Would be a little bit of a risk because his 2020 season was so bad. But that 2019 season at the slot maybe projects him either at the slot or at safety as a potential good guy. I mean, this was a guy who people thought was going to be a first-round pick last year. Suddenly fell. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I see wide receivers?
You may.
Frank Darby, Seth Williams. Once again, all those Auburn guys are still there. Seth Williams, Anthony Schwartz. I know on another, not on a podcast, but on a mock draft, we've talked about Shee Smith as well.
Yep.
But I feel like this is maybe the time, like, because we're about to hit another golf. There's some good options maybe for wide receivers to add an extra weapon that could maybe play alongside Kyle Pitts in a year or two.
Potentially. I mean, there's not really one guy that sticks out to me there.
Ooh, Darius Washington is there.
I mean, if we wanted to double up at safety, Andre Sisco is not a bad option, or Darius Washington.
Or Hufanga.
Yep. Oh, man. There's a lot of value. Ambry Thomas at Michigan is a guy that a lot of people like. The Draft Network has him pretty high on the board, getting good value at this point. I don't know.
What about also, you took him in your mock draft, Jeremy, but Cade Johnson, he would offer not only a guy who could fit in the slot early on in his career, but he could also be a return specialist.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that remains a need, I think, even with Kyle Pitts. Although, I mean, now you have Kyle Pitts and T.J. Hockenson who could play kind of the slot role as well.
Small school for him too, so he's definitely one of those guys who has a lot more upside because you just don't know what he's really capable of because he's played only at the FCS level.
True.
Let's grab Walker Little and then figure out who we're taking at 113.
Okay, let's take Little.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
Walker Little has been drafted. Let me reset the clock here. All right, clock is underway. We got an offensive lineman now. Might be able to start if we get a little lucky with those injuries. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? What position is there? A guy that stuck out to you in our research?
I think
there?
we want to start to look at wide receiver. I kind of like what we were talking about. Try to find a guy who could play in the slot.
Okay. What do you think? Do we want to go Cade? We want to go super athletic in Anthony Schwartz?
I was going to say Anthony Schwartz. I forget. Did Anthony Schwartz do any special teams play? I don't know if he did. But he is, as you say, he is beyond athletic.
Yeah, I mean, crazy athleticism there. Let me check really quick if I have some special team stats from him.
Yeah. But I like the Cade Johnson suggestion too, Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Cade Johnson's an interesting prospect from, the standpoint that, like you said, went to a small school. He was a no-star recruit out of high school. And
all grit. This is an all grit pick if we take Cade Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who had like 67 catches in 2018, 72 catches in 2019, and their fall season got canceled, so he opted out of the spring season. But I mean, he's got acceleration, burst right off the line. He's undersized, but I think that he could be like a dependable slot option for sure. And also, he figures into the return game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel a little bit early to take a wide receiver, the wide receivers that are
these
available
are just free
here.
Picks now. These are from the Panthers.
True.
Trade.
True, but you don't want to waste them. The issue is that we aren't picking until early in the fifth round. We're a good 30, 40 picks away from our next pick.
I just feel like, well, A, we're once again this segment's going long, but B, like I don't know. I just like Cade Johnson. I feel like we've got a lot of our other meat and potatoes needs done. That I feel like and again, as we talked about before, there are no wide receivers on more than a 1-year deal right now.
True.
And Kyle Pitts isn't lining up at the wideout.
Not every snap.
Not every snap.
All right, I'll go with it then. Cade Johnson from South Dakota State. You are the Lions' second fourth-round pick.
Yeah, if this pans out, then great. You've got two big receiving threats for the future.
True.
And you got some help on special teams too with Cade Johnson.
All right, so let's kind of, while we're waiting for the next pick to come up for the Lions. What kind of position do we think we're targeting here? We've already addressed the offensive line. We've addressed the defensive line in terms of getting a nose tackle.
Draft linebackers, safety.
I think secondary still could use another body or two. I'm thinking corner.
Yeah, this is where you definitely want to double up and get some projects.
And I mean, you have a coaching staff, right, that specializes in corners. So throw as many young guys at Aaron Glenn as you possibly can.
All right, let's see what we got then.
Sean Wade there.
So our Darius Washington is still there out of TCU, and that could be interesting. I think that's a bit of a fall for our Darius too.
True.
Like, I thought he was a lot. I always kind of saw him as like a day 2 talent, but I don't know.
Sean Wade is still there from Ohio State.
Sean
if we
Wade
want to
is
do
still there,
that, not a ton of other value at corner. It's
Trey
corner
Brown at corner, but
yeah, I'm not seeing a ton there in terms of the Draft Network's board. Jonathan Cooper, an edge guy. We haven't talked about edge at all, but that's certainly something the Lions could upgrade. They have a bunch of young guys that are still kind of in wait and see mode, but I'm not really expecting a ton out of a guy like why can't I think of his name? Drafted a couple of years ago. Oh geez. The edge guy that isn't Julian Okwara. Austin Bryan. I'm not expecting a ton from Austin Bryan at this point. I'm not saying the ship is completely sailed on there, but I don't think you can just point to him and be like, oh, he's going to, grow and be great. So I think edge is something that you want to consider here.
Yeah, and I could be talked into either Weaver or Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, Jonathan Cooper from Dane Brugler's draft guide, he projects him as like a 6th or 7th round pick, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's kind of getting a little bit too early. I know the Draft Network's a little bit higher on him, but he seems to be, from Brugler's standpoint, rushes with more energy than sequence or skill, but he labels him as having a fighting chance in the NFL and projects as a rotational rusher. So he seems kind of like a straight line, get after the quarterback guy. Didn't they just go out and get Charles Harris?
Yeah. All right. Is the pick due? Chat saying the pick is due, but suddenly I see you put some more time.
I didn't start the timer on time, so we're gonna pretend that there's a minute and a half left. I think
we should wrap this up because once again we're gonna go another 30 minutes.
Do we want to just then go Sean Wade? We've talked about him enough.
Let's do it.
I like that pick.
All right.
I mean,
I like that.
More secondary depth, and I mean, he projects as either a slot only corner or potentially playing the safety position. And I know the Lions in this draft, we got Javon Holland, but I mean, is it so bad that you get 2 guys?
Nope.
Not at all. All right. We're going to have to wait.
Last pick?
No, we got one more. We got a 6th rounder from our trade with the Panthers. So we're going to wait for that.
So let's go over this again. We've got Kyle Pitts in the 1st round after a trade down with the Panthers, 1 spot. Baron Browning, linebacker at 41. Javon Holland, safety at 72. Those are your 3 kind of like right away starters. Alan McNeil, Walker Little, Cade Johnson, Sean Wade. And now here comes pick 193.
Top people on the board according to the Draft Network, a bunch of edge guys. Dalen Hayes out of Notre Dame, Chauncey Golston out of Iowa, William Bradley King is right up there as well. If we wanted to triple dip on a receiving threat, Houston's Marquez Stevenson is the top guy available. Daz Newsome out of North Carolina, Austin Watkins out of UAB are all there. At this point, you're just kind of taking stabs. You're definitely not picking for need here, I don't think, at this point. So even if the Lions were to triple up on a receiving threat, I don't really care. But I think edge is definitely something to consider. And yeah, Dalen Hayes I would consider for sure.
Yeah, he had, I think, 3 sacks last year. I think he even had an interception and 2 forced fumbles. I know he got hurt. I think I forget when he got hurt. He did but he's been at Notre Dame since 2016. So he's been there a long while. You're getting him at age 22. But he was in the Senior Bowl. If I remember, he did decently in the Senior Bowl. I think I could like that. Add another Notre Dame edge rusher alongside the Okwara and see how he does. See if he can develop.
Chat's a huge fan of Tennessee's Josh Palmer, wide receiver. If we do want a triple dip,
it's cheating because the Draft Network has him rated as like the 313th best prospect, and they're out of their minds. But like Josh Palmer would be an awesome pick here because And I'll tell you why Josh Palmer would be an excellent pick is you have a wide receiver like Cade Johnson, who's primarily going to operate out of the slot at the NFL level. You have Kyle Pitts, who's, yes, he can flex out. He can maybe play X. He can play Z. You can kind of line him up all over the place. But like Josh Palmer is a legitimate outside threat who could eventually develop into like a starter. I mean, this is a guy who I would almost kind of put in the same vein as Kenny Galladay, because I think Josh Palmer is going to be more like a late third, early fourth round pick. And that's right about where Kenny Galladay was taken too. So I like Palmer a lot.
I mean, these are all when you're in the 6th round, these are all kind of long shots anyway. So I don't mind triple dipping.
Yeah.
I'm not even technically triple dipping because Kyle Pitts is a tight end.
Right. I think we should pass on Josh Palmer just out of realism and the fact that we've already got 2 receiving threats. Let's spice it up with another position here. I don't care which one it is. I mean, I even have the running backs highlighted right now. That's how much I don't care about what position they take here.
Chuba Hubbard's there.
Jarrett Patterson is a man.
Yeah? Tell me about him.
Oh, yeah. You want to know about Jarrett Patterson? That
Absolutely.
guy,
Buffalo.
is
he a literal Buffalo?
So this season, he played against Kent State, right? 409 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a big game. He had some big games.
That's ridiculous.
He has a pass catching running back too. He kind of fits. He would be a good fit to maybe, just if you develop him or
Sure.
Again, the thing is like you've got 3 running backs set. Maybe if you want to have a 4th and develop Patterson, I could see that.
Well, I mean, teams very often carry 4 running backs on a roster. Plus, Kerryon Johnson probably not on the team after next year. Jamal Williams is only signed to a 2-year deal. I'm fine with taking a developmental running back here.
Yeah.
Jarrett Patterson, baby.
Jarrett Patterson.
Well, we got 7 seconds.
We did a mock draft in which we took a running back. Can you believe it? There it is.
Well, 6 rounds about where you want to take a running back.
That is your mock draft for our speed mock, quote unquote speed. It didn't really feel
speed
that
mock
bad.
As we clock in this segment at 28 minutes. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, final thoughts here from this draft. We're going to give you best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, bold predictions, and I think Ryan wants to rant about the draft season in general because I think it's all made us all insane. So we're going to take a break, yak it up with chat, and we'll be right back on the Pride of Detroit PODcast. Yeah, I don't mind going super long on this one just because this is draft season, baby. But yeah.
No, you're right. I think that still worked out generally well, even though I forgot the timer 10 times.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think we did too bad. We were definitely longer in the first segment than the second one.
True.
For some reason, I like the running back from OKC. I like Chuba Hubbard too. He's an interesting prospect.
Really quick with alerts, Big Al 1958 with the 8 months. He says, "Where has the time gone?" Honestly, I mean, I was looking the other day to just see when we first streamed, and I believe it was something like December 3rd in 2018. 2018 or 2019? 2019. Right? Just over.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no.
I think so. Wait.
Miss Ruby, by the way, is up to 8,000 viewers.
That's amazing. No, we've been streaming for over 2 years, so it would have to have been 2018. Yeah. 2 years and some change. It's crazy. That was a good mock IMO. I would be pleased ending up with this all. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I think
again,
most
you got
people
to
like
trade
it.
down and still got a remarkable talent out of it too. So
I don't think there's any chance of Kyle Pitts is there at 8, but stranger things have happened, right? I mean, we all like to pretend we know everything right now, and the fact of the matter is, half of the guys that we think is first round talent are going to, crash and burn.
And by the way, like most of the guys writing these draft guides too, like they don't know much either. Like they know what they know from watching stuff, but we don't have the insight into what's in these war rooms at all.
True.
They're all in good fun. We all like to think we're informed, but sometimes and just like we were talking about with the Bengals earlier, right. Sometimes the logical choice isn't what's going on in their heads.
Right. And I mean, you think about all these,
someone, I think. Sorry.
I was just saying, you think about all these leaks to the media and like, I heard that this team is like, who on earth would jeopardize their own job by leaking the most sensitive information you could possibly have to the media? I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens as much as we like to pretend it does. Like sometimes, you can guess what a team's motive is by, whose pro days they're visiting or who, which players say they've met with these guys and they really thought their meetings with this team was whatever, productive. But I just don't think there are leaks in draft rooms very often. I really don't.
Yeah, and as you say, his motives. One of the things I heard from again, a newsman from Cincinnati when talking about whether the Bengals will take Jamar Chase for a threat and to make Burrow happy, or take Penei Sewell, which is the more logical choice. He even brought up the fact that he thinks they might take a wide receiver over the logical choice of offensive lineman because the Browns don't want to pay that much, and you talk about offensive lineman probably long term is going to cost you more than a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Even bringing up something as silly as that I don't think that's that big of a deal, especially if you're a front office person, but I don't know how much control the Browns have over it. And the Browns are absolutely notoriously historical skinflints.
True. I didn't get through all my alerts because I got distracted. Thick Boy 71 with the 3 months says, give me Justin Fields at 7. And then I'm not sure if that's I am Borambo or Lamborando, but thank you for the sub. The 3 months using that Twitch Prime gaming subscription. Appreciate you. Look at that. We're at 811 by the way.
8.5 thousand now. I want to see her. She might hit 10,000.
That's awesome. She deserves it.
He's got one of the Mr. Ruvy's there too, and one of the kids. So.
Luis, good old Luis. But yeah, I'll do another shout out to Mrs. Ruvy because they're an awesome stream, and
yeah,
I'm gonna pull them up right now. Is she freaking out? If
she's
watching,
got the Twitch apron on. She's got some kids running around, but she's working on some dough right now.
Oh man. Lots of boards up. By the way, so she does boards every time someone subscribes. Yeah. She throws their name up on a board behind her. Cool idea.
It's covering the walls, covering the cupboards.
We just mentioned your name for 2 seconds. We're not as cool as she is. Anyways, do you guys want to throw things into this third segment? We've already taken up. We're probably over an hour, right, of actual podcast time.
I don't mind going 90 minutes on this one. I don't. Okay. This is the big preview one. I have everything there. I've put my predictions in there in our rundown. So I don't know if you want to do that real quick for me to know if we can just run through these real quick, or we just roll the dice and see what happens.
I have some thoughts. They'll just come out of me.
Okay. I've already given my best case scenario, so I won't need much time on that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I'm ready.
Okay, but here's, I guess, the hope at 7. Is that what we're going to talk about as far as best case scenario is hope?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Robo, how far do I want to trade back? As far as there's good value in a return.
You want a pony too?
What was the thing you offered me, Ryan? All the way back to 24 or something with.
Yeah, it would be. It was Jacksonville and their picks at 25, 33, and 45.
Yeah, so 2 seconds essentially. To move back to 26 or whatever you said.
Yeah. Two high second round picks.
Right.
Yeah.
What would it take to trade out of the first round?
Oh, no.
Draft capital next year.
Yeah, it'd have to be at least 2 day 2 picks this year plus a first and a second next year.
Let's see. All right. What's this? Give us some hints for the draft stream. What do you mean by hints? Like we're just gonna be there and yucking it up, guys.
Yeah, I mean we'll have kind of guests jumping in and
Hype
out.
man stuff.
Yeah. We'll try. We're gonna try to have as many people from Pride of Detroit as possible, but obviously we're working hard on the writing end of things as well. So
I will probably be hosting that just so you can duck out, so
Yeah.
you can write once the pick is in.
Well, yeah. It's not only that too. Like they'll be doing Zoom conferences with the pick, like
With
10
you
minutes
on
after the
Zoom?
pick. So I'm gonna have to
You
be on Zoom.
with the blue mustache.
I'm probably gonna turn my camera off, but yes.
Coward.
Yes, you and Justin
Guys,
Rogers said
how
that.
about this? Can we get a sub count? Let's get a sub goal. If we hit that sub goal before pick 7 and Jeremy has to go on those Zoom conferences, if we hit that sub goal, Jeremy has to turn his camera on.
I don't know if I will agree to that.
Colin Cowherd.
Well, maybe if I'm feeling spicy,
I don't want to talk about Colin Cowherd right now.
if I'm feeling spicy on draft night, maybe I'll be like, okay, if we can get this number in the top right corner or top left corner, to like maybe if we get it over 1,000. I don't know. I'm not saying that now,
right.
but I'm saying like
Gulag is right. That is hazing. I apologize.
You guys want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do we have lined up? Just everyone from Pride of Detroit right now.
Yeah, we
It's gonna be a
might
grab bag.
we might have Kent swing by. We might have
It's
Brett
always,
swing by.
Brett Whitefield might swing by. It's always been draft night is open invitation.
Yeah.
If you're on Pride of Detroit or if you're a friend of POD who has done a lot of work for us, the door is open for you to come in and hang out in the war room. That's always how it's been.
Yeah.
People like to jump in unannounced, so I'm all about that. I'm all about spontaneity.
Yeah, but
for Ryan to
I mean,
come back, so.
we'll also we're gonna have a stream before Thursday night too. We'll have a stream on Wednesday night.
Yes.
So we could talk about a lot of all this stuff. And like I said, I might bleach my mustache on stream Wednesday night. We'll see how I'm feeling it. Someone told me that maybe I should bleach it Wednesday night and then dye it on Thursday just for best results. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But
Discord plan. So I am going to open up some additional rooms for voice chat on Discord. If people want to jump in, I will not unfortunately be able to join anyone on those rooms just because maybe like an hour before the draft itself, we can do a pregame on Discord, but I'm going to be on this big ass Zoom call or wherever we do this thing.
Yeah.
So,
and just so you have an idea of if you don't know what Zoom is or you've never done a voice chat before, this is the Pride of Detroit Zoom page. Discord
Ruby has
page.
a Discord. I need to get on her Discord.
Yeah, and so we're all in the recording booth, which you guys aren't allowed in. But there's an open lines hangout. There's a gaming hangout if you guys want to play video games with each other.
I'm going to probably make at least 4 hangouts, just because like usually I find if people, well, first off, you got to want to like voice chat. Even if you don't want to be in voice chat, there will be like the chat rooms. If you go up to like Lions discussion, Jeremy, like I mean that's been pretty active. Armchair GMs has been pretty active. Yeah. We get down on Discord, and it's a great place. You should be joining us for the off season.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to listen to us and just watch us, you can just watch us. If you want to be in a voice chat with a bunch of people, I would recommend the open lines hangout. You just kind of jump in there. You literally just click on it, and if there are other people in there, you can chat with them. You can do video too if you want to do video. But yeah, that's how
Chris,
Discord.
Who do you want at 7? I mean, man, I have no illusions of being a GM. I would be happy with Sewell, Slater, Chase, Waddle, Pitts, or even Fields. So I'm easy going, man. I'm easy. I'm good with a trade back too, with certain players for certain players. Like there's only one name that would I hate to use the word, but that would trigger me. Because I have a very hard line stance on this, but we should probably go and get this done.
Yeah.
So Ryan can.
And really quick, David Reinhardt with another 100 bits says Craigasm. I guess that's an emote.
It is an emote. It is a Craigasm. Yep.
There you go.
Have you guys been feeling good about the Tigers so far? No. Have you seen them play lately?
Not great, Bob.
Not great. I don't know when that team's getting fixed, if ever. Too many teams are kind of going the way of the Pirates now, where they just don't spend the money to fix it. Anyway, let's go. Wrapping up Draft-ageddon 2021, all blood, no bone here. Coming to you at the Ford Theater. Ford Community Arts Theater? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. We've been going long. We want to give you all the stuff. And again, join us on Thursday night for round 1 live, twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. It is always our biggest night of the week. It is a goddamn party. We have fun. Join us. You want to be a part of this. There will be a podcast afterwards, but when we do it live, we do it live.
Guests, mustaches, excitement, trades,
A blue mustache.
tight ends, wide receivers, quarterbacks.
All
Running
there.
backs.
No, running backs are not invited.
All right. So now we get to the rapid fire segment of this show. As we wrap things up, we've got bold predictions, best case, worst case scenarios, rants. Let's start with bold predictions. Bold prediction for either the Lions or the draft in general. So I'm going to let Jeremy go off the top rope here. What you got? Bold. I mean, really bold, really spicy, really picante.
Bold prediction: the Detroit Lions will not address wide receiver until pick 101. I think they go offensive line early, and then I think they hammer defense with a couple picks, try to get speedy on that side of the ball, and then they wait a little bit for wide receiver because we all know that wide receiver is a huge need, but they have guys that can play this year, and so it's a need that if the value isn't there when they're picking, they can kick it down the road.
Okay. I'm going to make a prediction about the draft in general right now. I believe someone is going to draft a punter before the 7th round, which sounds psychotic to me, but apparently Max Duffy, an Australian who played at Kentucky last year, I've seen getting some like 5th or even 6th round grades. I don't think teams think like that, but the fact that I said Australian in there, NFL teams get really weird when you tell them, hey, we've got an Australian who wants to punt for you. Ooh. I think Max Duffy is going to get drafted by an NFL team, and it's going to be before round 7. Someone asked me for my Mr. Irrelevant. He was that for me at first with the 300th whatever final pick, but as I started looking into him, I think he might generate more than that.
Max Duffy is a great name for the bully on some sitcom.
It's a great Australian name, too, Max Duffy.
All right. I'm not known for having bold predictions. I think this goes back to like 2017 when I was tasked with writing a bold prediction article for the Lions draft. And I remember I submitted my article and Jeremy was like, this is about as lukewarm as it can get. But here's my quote unquote bold prediction for the Detroit Lions. They do not double up at any position in the
really?
2021 NFL draft.
Not bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's getting warmer, but like, I don't think that's like, oh man, like, did you hear what Matthew said on the podcast? I don't think it's anything like that, but I don't think that they draft 2 wide receivers. I don't think they draft 2 safeties. I don't think they draft 2 tackles. I don't think they double up on any position, even if they move back and they accumulate more draft picks. I don't think that they double up at any position in the draft.
Let me be clear about one thing. Let me correct you on one thing you said. Listener, here, if you're listening to the Pride of Detroit POD cast, you need to go, as soon as you hear that, and tomorrow, you need to go to the water cooler. If you're still in a state where they have a mask mandate, make sure your mask is up, make sure you're 6 feet apart, whatever you got to do. But you tell the people around the water cooler, oh my God, did you hear what Ryan Matthews said on the Pride of Detroit POD cast? You will do that because that's how we generate the buzz. We grow the empire.
Wildfire.
And then
that's how we become the most reviewed podcast for Lions in the world.
And then the other person at the water cooler says, "Who's Ryan Matthews and what? Who cares? Like what?"
And that's when you lean in and say, "Back is the mother effing rock guy."
That's when you say, "Senior editor of Pride of Detroit, you dingus."
All right. Best case, worst case scenarios.
I would say my best case scenario is pretty close to what we ran in the very first segment, which is there are a bunch of quarterbacks available, and then the Lions get a ransom of picks. We've seen these trades in the top 10 in history, and teams just completely fall in love with the quarterback and pay a king's ransom for him. I want that to finally happen to the Lions. This is a perfect opportunity for it to happen. So I think the best case scenario is a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance falls to them, or both, falls to them at 7, and they find a team that's in love with him and pick up, at a minimum 3 picks between day 1 and day 2.
I want to springboard off of Jeremy's best case scenario, because while that is great, I think what makes it even better is if the Lions are able to move back, they can still end up with like a blue chip prospect.
Sure.
Like say they move back to 12. I'm not crazy about Jalen Waddle. Like I think he's really good. I would kind of just be like, meh with the pick. Like it doesn't get me like uber excited like something like I don't know, like Kyle Pitts would get me. But if the Lions can move back, get some extra draft capital on day 2, maybe even early on day 3, and they still get like Rashawn Slater, or they get Jalen Waddle, some blue chip prospect that squeaks out of the top 10, that would be like a best case scenario for me.
I will agree with you there, because like my only other best case scenario, sorry, I have like a tickle in my throat, would require certain teams to act irrationally, and we were talking about that before. That could be true with the Bengals. They could just say, you know what, we don't need Penei Sewell. We don't need someone to keep Joe Burrow from getting another ACL tear. Let's go get his buddy Jamar Chase, and somehow Sewell is there at 7. But that's a little irregular. I think I'm with Ryan in that. Best case for me is trading down to a 12, 15, 19. And for me, I would like to, again, see Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I know he's a little undersized, but he has everything. He has every tool, every fundamental you want out of a linebacker that can do everything for you. And I would want Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and the trade back value.
I'm so glad to hear that you guys have finally come around to being team trade down in all situations and all scenarios.
Don't get used to this.
Do you like, honestly, if I was Brad Holmes though, and if I was tasked with trading back with both Justin Fields and Trey Lance at 7 and having to trade back, like that's honestly a coin flip.
Seriously.
That is such a hard decision to make. Like,
yeah.
I was trying to think of how many general managers get to pass on franchise quarterbacks and keep their jobs. I can't imagine not many of them.
Yeah, but a lot of them lose their jobs by trying to pick a franchise quarterback and not getting it right.
Fair fucking point.
All right, we're going blue tonight. All right, worst case scenario.
I don't know how realistic this is, but I think if the Lions trade up for a quarterback, that's pretty bad.
It's the antithesis of everything Jeremy stands for.
And listen, like I understand the eagerness to get a quarterback out of this year's class. Everyone says next year's class is horrible, which again, I think that's too early to say, but let's say they're right. And the Lions just get too eager. Maybe 4 go off the board and they fall in love with Mac Jones. I don't think that's going to happen, so I'm not going to say that's worst case scenario. But if the Lions get eager for a guy like Justin Fields and see him either, I mean, what if the Lions pulled a Mitchell Trubisky and traded up one spot to protect themselves from getting jumped and grabbed Trey Lance and it doesn't work out? That to me is the nightmare scenario. I think when you're at 7 and you have so many needs, you gotta just at least let the board fall to you as it does and get the best guy available. And we've already heard Brad Holmes say he's comfortable with a cluster of guys at 7. Hopefully he sticks to that and doesn't trade up, because I think that would be a disaster.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I feel like I know what your worst case scenario is, and I think I might jump out ahead of it right now, but Micah Parsons at 7 would be just a doomsday scenario for me. And it goes beyond the character issues for me. I mean, obviously that's a huge point of emphasis that cannot be understated by any means. But I think it just comes back to this draft class is so top heavy and obviously offensive that if the Lions want to swerve, because I've even heard people in passing, like people that I work with, like, you know what? The Lions should go defense because everybody wants to go offense in the first 10 picks. It's like everybody wants to go offense in the first 10 picks because that's where all the value is. I don't think that the Lions need to like play, three-dimensional chess and need to, draft a defensive player in the top 10. Drafting Micah Parsons at 7 is just such a reach in terms of value to me, and it definitely sends the wrong message for a franchise that's trying to build itself off of high character talent.
The one thing I want to say really quickly about I don't really adhere to the positional value of linebacker not being worth it, but I will say that teams have not been historically pretty good about assessing how good linebackers are. And I do take to your point that I think the Lions at 41 could get a guy who might turn out just as good as Micah Parsons right there.
Yep.
If Jamin Davis falls, or Zaven Collins, like those guys are also very talented guys that they might get at better value.
And I think that's different than like the conversation that happens at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like obviously like Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, those guys are in a different class than the type of receiver that you'd get at 41. I don't see that type of disparity between Parsons and the other linebackers in the top of the class.
I feel like I need to come out to something to our audience about why I don't like Micah Parsons. And again, I don't think there's any value where I would be happy with Micah Parsons. I'll be honest, I've been struggling to try to tell this story. And to be honest, I just having this conversation with Jeremy about whether or not I put this story into writing, and I think I do need to do that at some point. When I was a pre-adolescent, I was sexually assaulted by an older man. It took me a very long time to come to terms with it. It took me a very long time to, as you can tell right now, I'm still not really comfortable talking about it. Is a vulnerability about myself that I've had to really deal with. And I think last time I was on Twitch chat, it almost kind of came out. It was something that I think I saw some messages in chat where I was like, I kind of needed to do this at some point. The last 3 years with a man like Matt Patricia at the helm of this team was very brutal for me. It's brutal because these are kind of shared experiences. We talk about struggle with this kind of trauma. We talk about how these things get shared just in general about, we make a joke out of things like trigger warning and everything these days. But it does come back. It comes flooding back when you're least expecting it. And I know there was, not everyone stays a victim for their entire life. There's ways over this stuff. But when you're dealing with football, it's a rough patch because I think there is a cult of, look, I just want to win. You hear that from the fan, I just want to win. And, when we had, my friend Megan, who's another survivor, on our podcast about 3 years ago when we were the only Lions podcast that really went out there to discuss the accusations about Matt Patricia. And then they were kind of very ruthlessly shoved under the rug. And it was a very quick reminder about how quickly those things just die. How quickly those things are just forgotten, because we need to be able to tell people, hey, you know what? What about the future, man? What about winning ball games? And that's where I feel on Micah Parsons. I don't want to do this again. I just did this for 3 years where some weeks I would come in and my interest in talking about this team would be utterly drained because of the man in charge of this team. And I wanted to write at the time, the words didn't come out. I wanted to write during all those 3 years about Matt Patricia and this pain, and the words wouldn't come out. And then when he was gone, I was like, all right, well, I'm just kicking the dog when it's down here, right? Like there's no honor in that. And I don't want to hold it off until after, if the Lions do draft Micah Parsons, because that's just vulturing and setting myself up for more death threats, which I got death threats after that Matt Patricia podcast. I don't want to do this again. I'm not saying that I will walk away from watching the Lions. I'm not saying that that I will give up on a project that's outlasted all these guys, but it will hurt. It will hurt. It will be nagging in the back of my brain, and it is a conflict. It is a conflict, honestly, I don't want to deal with. And if this team is right when they talk about culture, if this team is right when they talk about good character guys, if this team is right that this is more than just about winning ball games, I want to see that put into action here. I do. I don't want Parsons. Not at 7, not at 15, not at 18, not at 374. I don't want Micah Parsons. There's enough stuff out there. Jeremy linked to a lot of it. These aren't just, I think Mike Renner from Pro Football Focus said it best. Like, these aren't just random veiled accusations either. These are credible sources with a lot of backing to them, with a lot of reasons to not doubt the accuser. Now, you can't say for certain, and we certainly can't say it here, because then we'd be crossing over into murky legal territories. Not that I think anyone would come over a small podcast like us, but it matters. It really matters. And we keep using this term character issue, which is very flattening, and we shouldn't do it. And I know I'm just one person. I know, as is often the case, the feelings of the many, not the needs of the many, but the feelings of the many get to sweep aside the needs of the few. And it's a very helpless feeling you get when you have to deal with that. And I would hope someone out there is listening and hears me on this, because I don't want Micah Parsons. I don't want what he's involved with. I don't want what he stands for. And if you want to talk about the football side of things, I think Jeremy and Ryan have summed that up very well, that I can't do, because my emotions have now run roughshod. And I damn well apologize for bringing down what is supposed to be a celebration here. I was sitting here and I just finally realized it wasn't just, I'll probably regret this tomorrow. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm done.
You don't need to apologize. It's an important perspective that I don't think a lot of people ever get to hear. And
for the matter too, Jeremy, I've told both Jeremy and Ryan in private in past years too, but it's not something it's something I've dealt with trying to decide if I'm ever going to tell anyone publicly. And it just kind of came out, so I guess it's out there now.
You're muted, Ryan.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure that didn't interrupt Chris. But in all seriousness and in earnest, I think it's a courageous thing to do, because it lets other people know that they can share their stories too. Yeah. And I think there's strength and there's power in that. So, yeah,
I'm gonna need a minute. Thanks, guys, and thanks, chat. Right now, I see quite a bit of pouring out, and again, it means a lot. I don't really know how to go around continuing to tell how I can tell the story. Some people I've told it to in my life have just kind of brushed past it, which I guess is kind of normal, but for some people a lot closer to me, it's like I didn't even tell them the story. And it's alienating. It's hellishly alienating. I can't imagine what a guy like Humphreys goes through, who didn't even face the full brunt of this. And yet he's seen his coaches and his old teammates turn against him because he wasn't just going to go along with it and be violated. So I have no love for Parsons. I have nothing I can really share that is good about the man. I know that's not logical. I know that's putting myself in there. And as Americans, we like to say that we like to be reasonable. We say, put aside your emotions and think about what's reasonable, think about what's realistic, be pragmatic. I can't really do that. And I hope there's more to this life than just winning a football game. There are morals. There is. I'm Catholic, so I believe in your immortal soul, and I believe in trying not to damn my immortal soul. But at the risk of preaching a little bit, there is more than just putting up a win. And again, just even the prospect that Micah might get you a win in the win column. It's not a guarantee. But you want to take that lottery shot on someone who is just a foul human being who has been unapologetic at every turn. And again, I don't want to preach hell, fire, and brimstone. It's just I don't want to deal with it again. I don't. I just sat through 3 years of pain figuring out how to cover this team when a guy who was indicted by a grand jury was the coach. And I just don't want to do it again for however long a Parsons would be. I don't.
There's certainly other paths to winning that don't include Micah Parsons.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. I know I brought down the podcast. We will apologize for that at some point.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I thought you said you should at first.
No, you should not. You should not. You should not apologize. Right. And I don't care if I can't imagine anyone sending any hate stuff after that, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. And I would publicly, very, very publicly destroy them. Not in any harmful way, but like,
yeah, it is kind of, it sounds stupid. This
them.
is the fear. This was the fear of me trying to write something about it for a long time too. Was like, because again, I saw our reaction after that Patricia podcast. So, but again, This has been long enough. I've made it about myself for a very long time now. So I want to get back and do some funny stuff, because I feel that's where we're best. I just wanted to get this out, and thank you all. You've been amazing. Let's rant about draft season, shall we?
Ryan, transition us out of this.
I'm sorry, Ryan. You had this rant saved before this, and you didn't realize that this was the day the floodgates were going to open. Holy crap. I'm sorry.
I'm just glad that draft season's about to be over. The next time that we do a podcast, we don't have to talk about the draft, and hopefully we don't have to talk about Micah Parsons. So,
we're definitely going to talk about the draft. Sorry to say, draft results though.
We don't. Here's the thing. So, like, who is? I think it's Bill Burr who does like a really good bit about like the NFL draft, where he's like, why even pay attention to it? Like, it's just gonna like. The draft is going to happen. Just like show up like on Sunday, and like you're in the same position as anybody is Friday through Sunday. Like those people just watch the entire parade. Like you just get to like actually fast forward it and watch it on like a speed loop, as the way you would want to watch it. But I'm just so over like the over analyzing, and it's just it's reached. I think the tipping point for me was truly today with Kyle Shanahan and his existentialism, his talk about like being okay. And this comes back to the very top of the podcast. So let's put a bow on it here, right? Is that like if Kyle Shanahan was truly okay with any of the 5 quarterbacks, trading up to 3 was just a stupid move. It was dumb. It was completely prisoner of the moment, because it was, hey, let's move all the way up to 3 because 3's the pick we need to get. And I don't know. I'm just happy that by the time we talk about the draft on this podcast, we're actually going to be able to actually have something to talk about. We're not just like shooting the shit. We're not just like throwing darts at a board, right? Like we'll actually have like, hey, these guys might fit here, and it's not these guys might fit here if they might get drafted by this team. So that I'm looking forward to actually starting to putting the puzzle pieces together rather than acting like I have any idea what I'm doing.
Fair enough.
Jeremy?
No, I don't have.
I know Jeremy hates this time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. I would love for us all to just sit on our hands from January 1st to April 27th or whatever it is, and just be like, hey, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, they picked these guys? Let's go do some research on them now. Like, that would be an ideal scenario for me. Plus, it would give me 3 months of vacation, which would be amazing. But yeah, no. I mean, the whole draft thing is a bloated, weird thing where, like, we all get tired of it by the beginning of April, I think. And then sometimes something weird happens where the Dolphins trade up and down and whatever, and we all get excited for another couple days. But in the end, listen, I know a lot of people love the draft, and a lot of people love to scout their own players and trust their own eyes and things like that, and I'm not trying to take anything away from you, but I don't know. For me, you do it so many times. You see so many people get it wrong. You see so many people on Twitter convinced they know everything and say, there's no way in hell he lasts the second round. And then he does, and you never hear from him again. I'm just tired of it all. I love the day after the draft because it's the furthest away from the next draft.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, let me put it this. Let me go the counter side. You guys are psychotic. I love this time of year. I love watching everyone lose their damn minds. I love how draft season. I love what draft season does to you kind of guys. All right, the guys who need to know everything. And I love what it does to guys like Adam Schefter, who is just a spigot for just the worst kind of BS and sell jobs imaginable. All right. This is the time of year H.P. Lovecraft couldn't make a better story about losing yourself to insanity. This time of year makes everyone psychotic. All for what? Over who are just barely in their 20s, who may or may not be good for a game of football. I love it. I love I don't want to read mock drafts, but I cheer every time I see a new mock draft because I know it's going to drive someone psychotic. This is trolling season.
Abolish the draft, redistribute the wealth. Let college players sign with whatever team they choose.
Ryan, that's the thing that's going to get us death threats for this podcast.
I have nothing else to say. That's all.
Join us for the draft on Thursday, y'all.
Yeah, join us for the draft on Thursday. Join us for Jeremy's final mock draft of Wednesday, as if you haven't had enough. He's going to do more of them. I should make it next offseason. We're going to make him do it twice a week.
No. I quit.
Yes.
I quit.
You can't quit this. This is the life that's chosen you, Jeremy. The Pride of Detroit draft parties Thursday night. It will start about, I'd say, around 30 minutes before the first round begins. I strongly encourage everyone to be there. It is our biggest party of the year. Twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit. I will be there. Jeremy will be there. He'll be running around with his head on fire and his mustache blue. Ryan might be there. We all love a party. Are you going to be drunk?
No, I got to work on Friday.
Okay. That's fair. I've got to work early too, or I would be drinking too. For myself, you find me on Twitter at I almost gave out Ryan's Twitter for myself. I am so spooked now. At Chris Perfett for myself on Twitter, PERFETT. Jeremy Reisman, the fearless leader, the man of Pride of Detroit at Detroit Online. I gave him a new title, see? And Ryan Matthews, the heart and soul of this podcast, the man who just comes in and does everything beautifully. At Ryan_POD. Fellas, everyone, draft season. We'll see you Starside. Oh my God. That was a long ass podcast.
That was a long ass podcast.
We started at 6:00.
We are over 2 hours on Twitch and YouTube at this point, which means good. I don't think we're going to hang out too much. Plus, we want to get that Ruby raid in at some point.
Yeah, where is she at right now? Where is she? She
is still streaming, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. She's probably not on the front page.
She's down now. She's down to 3,500.
Yeah, she's probably not on the front page anymore.
Probably not on the front page anymore.
They usually do an hour of that. Are those donuts? I don't know what that is. But anyways, no, we're good. We're good. We'll answer some questions. Ryan, if you gotta go, I know.
Yeah, I know he's got to get going.
I'm gonna go make dinner.
That's fair.
I'm hungry.
I also have not had dinner, so that's part of the reason why I don't think those are
Yeah. I wish I could stick around because I want to keep talking with you guys, but
that's a good chance to jump over to our Discord. I mean, you can literally have an audio chat or just a text chat as well. Oh, that's all I got. Bye, Ryan.
Bye, Ryan. You can tell me right now if you want me there on Wednesday for mock draft.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, I'm there. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.
See you, dude.
Bye.
Any other questions, chat? Maybe about Wednesday or Thursday, or if God forbid,
Yeah,
if you
David
have
Reinford wants
any
you
other...
to predict the first round pick in the 2022 draft.
No. Nope. Absolutely not.
Craig, we will talk. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's rough for me to talk about it. I'm always a standoff guy. I'm kind of a little standoffish sometime. If you're on Discord, by all means, send me a DM, man. I don't know how else to reach out to people.
Bleach your mustache and then dye it Thursday. I will commit to bleaching my mustache Wednesday night after our mock drafts.
Yeah.
Dyeing it, I don't know. Someone said I should wait until the next day. I have a ton of dye because I bought a kit that's usually for hair and I only need to cover this amount. But I will stream the bleaching Wednesday after mock draft Wednesday.
Chris, are you streaming Genshin tomorrow? I don't know if I'll be streaming Genshin. I am getting my first dose of the vaccine tomorrow. Hopefully, if material, what do you call them? Supplies last. It's kind of first come first serve. So I'm trying to get my first dose of the vaccine tomorrow. Stuff with Ruby kind of took up my time, but then I hope to be streaming on no decaf on Twitch. A lot more here, hopefully in the future. Just kind of, I know. By the way, congratulations to Zucifer, who I know is part of our Pride of Detroit community, who hit affiliates.
Yes,
we've been raiding him too, and I think that raid actually got him to affiliate.
Yep. Thanks to everyone in our Pride of Detroit Twitch community who went over there and followed. And he's a great streamer that provides something that we don't, which is good artwork. I don't have a single
I haven't drawn. Like, actually, honestly, I might have to take up drawing again. I haven't drawn in like 5 years, and I kind of want to get back into it now.
And speaking, I totally forgot too. By the way, Zeus dropped 5 gifted subs during the middle of that third segment. Appreciate that. And then Chromon came in and subbed for 4 months. So appreciate you with those guys. I almost forgot. Thankfully I didn't, because we do appreciate any sort of support. And we try to share that back to our Twitch communities specifically, but also, YouTube. I hope you don't feel that I know we have some YouTube exclusive content coming this week. So, I want you guys to feel special too.
Yeah. And I know some people, I'm sorry I couldn't get to everyone in there who has been asking to talk to me, or like, again, thank you all for everything you guys said. I couldn't really catch up with it in the moment there. Just was trying to kind of hold myself together through a lot of it. You can tell it's not something I'm used to really talking about right now. But I really do appreciate Megan. She's on Twitter at WarDangMeg. I know I talked with her way back about this, and she's pretty open about what she went through herself because she's another survivor. But I don't think I'm ever going to be ready to really talk about it too much, just because it's something that kind of makes me a little shaky. But I'll try. And again, if you guys want to reach out to me at any point, Discord's probably the best way. Even if you just want to DM on Discord, it's right there. I'll try to talk on Twitch as much as I can too. Now that it's out there, I'll have to figure out how to kind of. I'm trying to find the right way to talk about it too. I don't want to see too doomish about it, just because I'm kind of still going through, after however many years has been, still going through a lot of it. But yeah. Again, I hate that I bring this down. I like making sure people have a party, and I like to think that I help set parties sometimes. So even just talking about it kind of goes against my nature. I don't want to bring people down.
Matrices asked Jeremy, I thought the mustache was going to be blue. No, it will be blue for the draft. I haven't decided whether I'm going to fully dye it on Wednesday night or Thursday morning, but it will be as much to my ability. It will be blue. I'm going to be doing this on my own. So, as someone who has trouble baking cookies, I'm not entirely sure it's going to work out. But I will very much attempt to make it blue.
Too much of that bleach.
Yeah.
Don't whiff too much.
Well, here's the thing. Here, I'll show you what my plan is, and I saw this on the internet.
Oh no. Okay. Oh
Plans
God!
on the internet
How am
always
I
work,
not,
right? Plans on the internet are perfect, right?
how am I not myself? Has a question for you, Jeremy. I'm not going to read it on air though.
No, I'm not going to practice on that first. But no, like the plan is to do this so that I'm not inhaling the
Oh my
bleach
God!
fumes.
Someone's going to have to clip. Just give me
In
a
my
picture.
nose. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Print screen.
But yeah, this is, and then I'll just talk with chat for a while bleach is here, and then oh wait, I'm just realizing now that I'm this will suffocate me. I will die if I do this.
Make some room for your nose. Conrad66, yeah, that is Ruby there. He is totally
All right, yeah, that's
fine.
the whole point. Is I got to breathe through my nose.
He's eating healthy again. He's curling up quite a bit. He's totally fine. He got a full clean bill of health last Monday. I know some people were asking about if they could help donate to his fund. I'm dragging my feet a little bit on that, and there goes your green screen.
It's coming down. You guys can.
I will have that up on my Twitter at some point. I know some people were offering, and that's very, very generous of you guys. I don't like taking money from people, but people have asked for it. I'll throw it up probably sometime after the draft, but because I am down about like quite a bit helping out Ruby, but honestly, he's worth it. He's another survivor. He's been in enough fights in his life. He should be able to just enjoy however big and however he wants to be. He's doing fine with the food. He's not fussing about it anymore. He was fussing about it at first, then he started eating it because you put food in front of Ruby, he will eventually eat it.
It is a Herman Miller chair. I won it on Super Squares.
Really?
Exclamation point. Exclamation shout
I
out.
do need to get a new. I need to get a new computer chair. This thing is like falling apart.
Super Squares is, by the way, they're streaming right. They've moved to hockey. If you are interested in winning big prizes, I literally won a $1,500 gaming chair from them, and also like $1,000 on Amazon just playing Super Squares. It's a free game. Go over there, ask them a bunch of questions if you have them.
It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of broadcast Turner puts together for hockey coming up here. It sounds like they're gonna be splitting rights with ESPN, kind of in an NBA type of situation, which is fascinating.
Sorry, I just read the weirdest thing in chat. Jeremy, I tried weed
I see that
for the first time a few days ago, and all it did was burn my throat. I heard you're big in this area. Any ideas? If you talked to me, if you talked to me 15 years ago, maybe I was big in that area, but nope, not anymore.
Edibles.
But yeah, edibles probably. I don't know. I don't want to give drug advice to people.
I will.
Oh, big in the burning your throat area? I don't even know what that means either. You just mean me inhaling bleach? I forgot though. In the entire point of putting this on was so that I can breathe through my nose cleanly, and while I tried it, I was breathing through my mouth, which would be very bad to do since it will be entrapped with the bleached hair. So I just have to remember, don't.
You might not be smart enough to do that.
I might not be. I might die.
Do it for the gram.
I just need to pay attention to this is why I have to do it on stream, because if I do it by myself, I'm fucked. I'm dead.
Okay, so we now have a cop in chat, by the way. Just to put that out there.
What's happening, Matrices? What's happening?
That is hashtag not a cop.
All right. We're losing
We've been
viewers
on long enough for Miss Ruby to complete her beef Wellington. That looks really good.
That does look amazing. I'm gonna send you guys over there right now. Screw it. See the last seconds of. I don't care for streams about to end. I want you guys to see the beef
guys,
welling.
join the Discord. Get ready. Jump in with us. We're gonna have a lot of time. If you want to reach out or talk to me, I'm always in the Discord chat. Whatever you got to do, guys, get in there with us. We have a lot of fun over there. It's like the Twitch chat 24/7.
Yes, please don't talk about crack there. It's family friendly stream.
No, please don't. Please don't.
But we'll see you guys on Wednesday, and then we'll see you on Thursday. Be sure to show up for both. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be amazing. Goodbye, everybody.